do you guys want to hear about a story that's so ingrained in the cultural zeitgeist that everything references it, and
the Bible?
Because
I've been trying to learn that for a while.
It's close to that, Fran, and it's been put on a pedestal so high that people have already forgotten that it destroyed itself long ago. Would
so
that
the Bible?
Yes, Fran. We're going to talk about the Bible. No, Fran. We're going to
Oh my gosh! I finally get to learn the Bible stories.
No, Fran. We're going to talk about. We're talking about the opposite of that, Fran. We're talking about aliens.
Welcome, weary traveler. You have stumbled across a comedy chronicled of cranial confections, a frenzied fable of bewitching fiends, an enticing expose of eccentric evils. Should you brave ahead, you will find yourself lost, afraid, and cursed with everlasting knowledge of the terrible occult. Will you survive this journey? That I cannot say. But I can say it will be the lore of horror.
Gotcha. Well, then, welcome to The Lore You Know, where I actually do my job. A podcast where some friends dive into the fantastical and often convoluted lore of media that we grew up with and love, sometimes. And here to bring you the mostly correct facts about made-up things this week are me, Fran.
Me, Ethan.
And I'm CJ. And I've got some explaining to do. We've been away. I'm sorry about that, everyone who
There's a lot of life events.
I will say we had some issues we had an episode. We were going to be like, hey guys, we're going to go on a break. We had some issues with that one. We're still going to figure it out.
Are
but
we?
It was, yeah, well, you guys are.
I wasn't there for that one.
I'm figuring it out. But we had about 5 hours of recording that all got ruined.
Wasn't it 6? I thought it was
sort of like soul devastating. And then we explained in there we were going to take a little break because we got a bunch of stuff going on. I've moved to a new place. Ethan's moved to a new place. I graduated. Married. I got married to my beloved, the love of my life, who you might recognize from the podcast as Lizzie. Ethan also got married to a guest from the podcast. Weird. It's like we just invite our friends.
No, that's how I met her, actually.
You just really hit it off listening to she heard you talking about, what was it, Street Fighter, and she was like, oh, this is the man I must marry.
I made a couple of racist jokes about Dalsim, and she was like, oh, I like that.
That's actually I miss those days. That's actually a very close that's very close to the reason Lizzie and I got married, except if you replace it with Fire Emblem, and then we're pretty much there.
And Vor.
Yeah, Fran graduated from grad school. Congratulations, Fran. She's a master now, a master of business. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Apologies that we didn't keep putting up our silly podcast, but we're back, baby. And we're coming in hot. We're refreshed and renewed, probably. I mean, you guys keep talking about how your bodies are failing you and how death's grip comes for us all. But I'm ready to go, man. I'm having a good time. We made mugs. You can't buy these yet.
They're not available for purchase. These are exclusive to being handmade by me.
And yeah, we're ready to get back into it. And what better thing to get into than the monumental classic that has been made and remade, and now there's a new one that's out that, as always, will prep you for the lore you need to know to go see the new Alien movie. But bit of a spoiler, I don't think you need to know anything to go see the Alien movie. I think you pretty much got it figured out.
What's the name of the newest one? Is it Aliens?
No, Fran, that's the second one.
Added
nice
more
try.
S's.
Oh, shit.
There's like
Aliens.
7 S's.
Aliens.
No, the latest one is, what is it? Alien
Romulus.
Romulus?
Yeah.
Are we into Greek mythology with aliens now?
Yes.
It's weird that
Oh,
they
shit.
didn't. So here's.
Is there a Remus?
I don't want to. There is, yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. So I read a little synopsis about it, but they have two ships, and it's named the Romulus and the Remus, and they like connect
That-
together. So
Seems poorly worded choice. I don't know.
all of the alien. At a certain point, they started naming all the alien movies after the name of the ship that they're on.
Okay.
Which would mean the first one would be named like Alien. What the fuck is that
The
ship
ship
name?
was also named Alien.
I swore to God, like he's bringing this up because he knows. I don't remember the name, but surely he's bringing
The
this
guy
up
who-
because he
yeah.
remembers.
I have forgotten that I needed to put a plot thing. So another little behind the scenes. Another reason that we haven't been recording a whole lot is because I've been working a lot for my real life job, and I've been traveling a lot. So I just got back from like a week-long travel of some like real hard working man work. So I watched a lot of these movies in the hotel room, and like I fell asleep a lot of times. I like came back from a day's work and I like watched as much Alien as I could, and then I was like woke up to like the fourth movie halfway through, and I was like, what the fuck? And so I turned it off and then started over. So I'm gonna do my best.
So we're
But
at top form is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
What if you named each of your work trips after the plane that you were on?
so they,
To
a lot
like
of
help categorize
a lot of
for
them would be
yourself.
named
So, like, which one
Boeing
was-
then, I guess. I don't know.
Which
Oh,
one?
that
There's different
sounds scary.
models
It does
and
sound
different
scary,
like
right?
airline carriers. Could be
Yeah.
Delta.
Airbus is the
Be-
perfect name. Honestly, I will say I get a little bit of anxiety with flying just because it's like a control issue for me. Like when I'm driving, I know it's more dangerous, but I'm like in control, so I feel like I'm safer. When I'm flying, it's just like, I don't know. What if the pilot's drunk? Which they do. They get drunk sometimes. They're humans.
That's what the second pilot's for.
What if they
Right.
didn't get enough sleep between their flights? Which is why we had
Exactly.
to
Right.
delay
Yeah.
crew anyway.
What
right?
if their company is threatening to kill them because they're gonna like blow the whistle on some problems that they have or something? Like there's all sorts of things.
What if the air traffic controllers are overworked? You know. Like,
But
yes.
naming their airplane the Airbus actually does, like, that's the one marketing that really works on me, because I'm like, it's just a bus. He's a bus driver basically. I'm fine. Also sometimes I just get so tired because I leave at like 4 a.m. that I'm just like, I'm gonna fall asleep on the plane, and this might be the last time I'm ever conscious. But you know what? I'm so tired right now.
What a
so.
good way to
Are
go.
you lucky enough to get the exit row when you fly?
Almost never. No, I get put
Okay.
way in the back, way in
'Cause
the
you're a
back in
large
the middle
boy,
seats. Yeah. Oh yeah.
so-
No, it's abysmal. I hate it. Anyway,
Yeah.
back to Alien. Speaking of abysmal sky travel, nice job, CJ. Got us back on track. So we'll go to the first Alien movie. I will tell you right now, a lot of these movies are prequels, and specifically the latest movie, the 2024 Alien movie is
Romulus.
It's called an interquel, which is a
What?
word I learned, which means it is after the prequels but before the original thing.
So still a prequel
yeah,
in a sense.
it's-
or
Star Wars Episode 3.5.
it might
So Clone
also
Wars.
it might also be that it's between two of the original ones. We'll talk a little bit about it, but there's a pretty big time gap between the first and second Alien movies.
This just feels like Saw.
In which a bunch of shit happens. It's very similar to Saw, which
We're just put shit out of order.
yeah,
And you
good
guys
point.
can
Good
figure it
point,
out
Fran. You
later.
guys should go back and watch Saw too. You should actually go back before you watch
Sammy and
this
Eric, great.
podcast. Watch all of our previous podcasts to get caught up on the lore lore, and now it'll be like we never left.
Did you ever figure out the name of the ship in the first movie?
I did. I've got it ready to go. I'm
Great.
ready. I'm ready to go through the original. Would you guys like to hear about the original Alien movie with me?
I would love that.
Sure.
That's
Okay.
to be clear where I'm at. I have seen the first 3 movies, I want to say, but quite
Okay.
a while ago.
Fair enough.
Is this okay? I will say this is where my brain has to orientate.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott, is that a name associated with these movies?
He's the director of the first movie.
Great.
And then
I
he's
was
the
really
director
confused.
of the stealth sequels, but we'll get to that.
Okay. I was really confused because I knew the name Ridley Scott from the Alien movies, but then
Yep.
there's an enemy named Ridley in Metroid.
Correct. That's named after that guy.
Oh
Okay.
we lored it.
We did. We,
Oh my
we
God.
came back around to the Metroid episode again. Yeah. The I can't remember the guy's name because I flushed the information immediately after we do these episodes. But the guy who made the Metroid games was a alien enjoyer. And
Shigeru
so,
Miyamoto.
yeah, Miyamoto was like, we need to put the alien man in our video game. No, the alien Ridley in the Metroid game is named after Ridley Scott and borrows some design elements from the alien from Alien.
Okay.
So there you
So
go.
I'll just imagine that. every time.
It's not like I'll describe it to you in such vivid detail that even if you aren't watching on YouTube with the visual faces and just watching my sensual voice in like your favorite anywhere that you get podcasts, then you'll still be able to see it in your mind's eye. Imagine, Fran, that we're in deep space and we get a lovingly crafted shot of a spaceship flying through space, a la Star Wars. And what we are looking at right now is it's a model that a model maker made because they didn't have CGI back then. But it is the ship, the Nostromo.
Nostromo?
Nostromo.
Why?
What do you mean? It's
Just the name is just, what
it's
is
a-
that from?
It's a cool
like
name.
Nostradamus?
I don't know.
So, okay. Well, they were
It's
doing
a-
off the
it's
Greek
a no-
stuff
it's a
before with Remus and
novel by-
Romulus.
You want to know, Fran? It's a novel
Yeah.
by Joseph Conrad,
Okay.
set in the fictitious South American Republic of Costaguana. So there you go.
Are you happy, Fran?
Yeah, did that help?
It's just such a strange word.
It's
All.
it's a book
sci-fi
from yeah, it's a book from the 1904, and I think the whole point is I'm just skimming over the plot of this book, but it looks like that the ship in that book is like shipping silver that they had mined, and in this book, similarly, the ship is it's a cargo ship for
Okay.
a bunch of mined minerals.
Okay, so whoever wrote this script really liked
Sci-fi writers
obscure
do that
literature.
all the time. Like,
Yeah,
that they love that
yeah.
shit.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
Alien based on a book? Or was it originally a screenplay?
No, it was
No, it's just a screenplay. We'll get to
It's
that.
an
Too.
original movie? Okay.
Yeah. We are going to follow the crew of the Nostromo for a little while, but I'm going to tell you up front, I hope you don't have like a favorite character because they're not going to make it. Maybe not in this one, but in one of them, they're gonna get got by that pesky alien.
that pesky alien.
But
Or evil scientist.
It is
Probably.
the distant future. I believe it's like 2090s. And of course by then we've mastered, again, this movie came out in 1997 or 1979. So
It's that old.
yeah, so
Yeah,
they were like, we're
Those 80s.
nailing space travel right now. We're less than 100 years. We're going to be flying all over the damn place. And by the late 21st century, we're going to have whole mining operations on other planets. And they're going to bring back their big loads of minerals on these big star casting freight trucks, basically, but in space.
Surely
And-
all of this progress that we're making is going to be put towards furthering humanity and reaching
Working
the
together.
stars.
Well,
and-
don't worry, because there's plenty of
Of evil
Yeah.
capitalism.
evil capitalism in this movie as well. So.
I assumed it was all fueled by capitalism.
Yeah, so as we will learn, there is a sort of globe encompassing company that they just refer to as the company for a good deal of time.
Classic.
And they're kind of in control of everything, but we'll see that in a bit. So it's the late 21st century. All of the crew members of the Nostromo are in a deep cryosleep because in this reality, there's no faster than light travel. You just fly around in a spaceship, and you just get put into cryo sleep in the meantime, which also lends itself to huge time skips during the plot. So if you want to know when anything specifically happens, kind of doesn't matter. It's the nebulous future. All of the crew members, all 7 of them, are roused from their cryosleep. But what's this? They are not yet at their destination, which is Earth. They are returning to Earth with all of this cargo. And as they awaken, they're all a little confused. But we are going to meet our 7 members of the crew. There's Captain Dallas. So this is what's really like everyone kind of associates Sigourney Weaver with the Alien series because she's in all of them. But in the first movie, she is not necessarily the main character. She doesn't even have top billing. It's this other guy, Captain Dallas, who's the one who is listed high in top. Tom Skerritt, I guess. So yeah, he's the captain. He's kind of a no-nonsense guy, as you might imagine. He is there to make sure that everyone's doing their job right. People have said that they really loved the characters in the original Alien. They think that they all have a lot of personality. I am mixed on that, although we can talk about it a little bit. There's Officer Kane. There's Warrant Officer Ripley. There's Lambert, the navigator, the science officer Ash, and the 2 engineers Parker and Brett. That's the full crew. There's no one else on board because they're just a cargo hauler. Everyone basically calls them space truckers. They are just taking a bunch of stuff from one point to another point. They're not scientists or anything. They have a science officer because the company appoints science officers to the vessels. Basically, the company is in control of everything. So Captain Dallas is in charge, but he was put in charge by the company. Everyone has their roles and their protocols that they're laid out for. In like the company basically tells them exactly what to do, and the way that they get these orders and disseminate them amongst the crew is the crew's onboard ship, which is called Mother. Mother is a like AI computer thing, and she is basically just telling all the crew members their orders, and maybe has some nefarious association with the company, but we don't know that yet.
An AI with nefarious company associations?
Yeah,
this sounds like fantastical indeed.
This really is science fiction.
Man, I feel like this generation doesn't have a healthy skepticism of AI as they should. They really should go back and watch these old sci-fi.
Do they not?
To just really...
No, dude, it's a $1 trillion industry. It's crazy how much
everyone loves it.
People were like, hey, this AI is kind of shit and it keeps giving us wrong information. And they're like, put it in everything. Just everything.
Yeah. They're trying to tell teachers to use it to write tests and quizzes and stuff now.
And to grade things.
And like to help write IEPs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like
okay.
I'm just
we don't have enough time to talk about how shit AI is, but like
I'm just saying they should go back and watch this shit to just be really we need a healthy skepticism.
In this
we need a healthy skepticism for society.
I also thought that there was going to be more of like, oh man, Mother's like gone rogue or evil or something. But no, she's just kind of like a normal computer. She's just doing what the company told her to do, which is again nefarious. Which is, I mean, that's its own lesson of like, well, if it's an AI, but there's a evil company telling the AI what to do, then I don't know. So they all are woken up, and they are.
But who woke them up?
Mother woke them up, because as we find out, Captain Dallas goes to Mother and it's like, Mother, what the heck? We're not at Earth yet. Why did you wake us up? And then they get the order that there is a nearby unexplored planet. But coming from the planet is a broadcast that is mysterious. And due to the science protocols given by the company, any unexplained broadcast has to be investigated by any nearby ship. Doesn't matter like what the ship's like purpose is. As long as there's a crew that's nearby, they have to go like see what's going on.
I don't like that company policy. That seems poor.
It's the trucker code.
It's like saying, like telling the Amazon delivery driver, hey, there's like some weird shit coming out of the house next door to the one you just delivered a package to.
Yeah.
I know we put all these like time crunch,
it is
impossible to meet quotas on you, but policy also says you have to go check that shit out and put yourself in harm's way.
It is, I think,
harm's way.
I think it is like, it like harkens back to like a sailor thing where if you're like sailing on the seas or whatever, you see a ship that needs help, you have to like check it out just to, you know.
I don't know. That's definitely not my circus, not my monkey situation. I'm just a truck cargo delivery person. I ain't doing shit, man.
Well, you would then share the sentiments with engineers Parker and Brett, who are not only upset that they don't get full shares because for some reason the two guys who know how to like fix the ship are like lesser in the cast,
lowest on the totem pole
in the caste system, and so they're like their whole personality is like we want more money, and then the captain's like, no. And then they're like, rats. And like, it doesn't really come up, but they're just like, we don't want to do this. This is like above our pay grade. But Science Officer Ash is like, no, we have to do this. This is the protocol.
Send Ash out. They can take care of it. Shit.
I mean, they do. They're like, all right, we're going to send our little lifeboat thing out to go. Great. It's not really a lifeboat. It's like a full ship, but it's, they leave all
smaller than the ship.
Right. They leave all the cargo and stuff in space. And they all pile into the outboard ship. And they go investigate this mysterious signal on this uncharted planet. The planet is LV-426.
LV-426?
Yeah. Okay. And it is... They run their scans or whatever. It's like totally not habited. But there's a lot of strong storms that happen on this planet. So
all the more reason to not go there.
Well, they have to check it out, Fran. So they're going.
Why?
And as they're descending, they're all having banter. They're all learning each other. I'm not going to get into each character because, again, I don't know. People
they're
are
all
like,
going to die. It's fine.
People are like, wow, these are like cool living characters. Like, I guess they're just kind of like talking, though. And they do the thing in old movies where they kind of like whisper, like, and the mics aren't very good. And so they're just like, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're saying. It was a little rough of a watch. There's a bit of an age, and to be fair to me, I was born like 14 years after this movie came out. 24 years.
I think I say 14 years ago. I'm like, goddamn.
But they all go to investigate, and as their spaceship is descending, the storm whips up, and unfortunately, they have one of those ships where if one thing goes wrong, everything starts exploding on the ship. So their ship starts exploding. All of the like panels.
Why do they send all of them?
Because they need to crew the ship that they're flying.
Yeah, what are they? This is a company ship, Fran. It doesn't have like
there's only seven of them. Yeah,
right. Yeah, we've got an extra side ship.
Send the science officer.
Send him in what? Send him in what?
By himself? Like, yeah, they gotta fly the ship.
They got a little lifeboat thing.
Well, they need their engineers to keep the ship together. They need their science officer to go check it out.
Do that.
They need a navigator to figure out how to navigate.
Ripley, maybe don't go into the hurricane.
Ripley and Kane are like the first and second officers, and then the captain's there. So it's just it's a pretty lean crew.
Okay.
But they go down. Oh, the storm! It broke our boat, and so the engineers are like, "This shit's fucked. We have." Like it's gonna take us like a day to fix everything. It's just like it's crazy how much damage was done to this ship in the short descent that they have. But they're like, all right.
Again, it's a company ship. I imagine that like all of the stuff was 90% like broken,
recycled from other broken ships.
They're just like, this was barely running before, and then you
fair.
Punched it wrong, and now it's done.
So I have a small note about this whole series. I think the writers, the only thing that they knew about technology in general is that stuff uses coolant, because whenever there's like a problem, that like the problem is either too much or too little coolant has been applied to the wrong place. So there's always like coolant leaking out of shit, and they're like, we need more coolant, and I just thought it was funny A lot of the problems are coolant related.
At least it's not punch card.
Well, then I was like, oh, they're gonna use the coolant to beat the alien, but they never do that either. So, and they just like talking about coolant. But they're like, all right, the engineers are gonna work on getting the ship fixed. In the meantime, we are going to send out an exosuit crew of 3 people, including Captain Dallas, First Officer Kane, and Science Officer Ash. And they're going to go out and they're going to investigate what appears to be some sort of derelict, non-natural structure. I was going to say man-made, but
that they conveniently landed near.
Well, that's where the signal's coming from.
Right, yeah, they purposefully landed near.
So the signal's coming from this odd non-man-made.
From this, which they're pretty quick to figure out it's a crashed spaceship.
Okay.
But an alien spaceship, not a human spaceship.
Oh.
And so the 3 of them go out to go investigate this spaceship. And then the other 4 stay behind and try and get the ship in working order. This leaves Ripley in charge. Oh wait, I was wrong. Science Officer Ash does not go with them. It was Lambert that was the third,
I feel like
the third person
they
that
should
goes
have.
with them.
But
yeah, but Ash is like running scans and stuff from the ship or whatever.
Okay.
And like Ash is like a scientist. He's not like a rough and tumble guy. He's just there to do science. So whatever.
I've decided Ash is my favorite one, and I hope
I hope he's a cool guy. So Dallas, Kane, and Lambert are all off doing this mission. This leaves Ripley in charge as she is the next highest ranking officer, and then Ash and the 2 engineers are working on the ship. So as the 3 of them investigate this ancient ship, they see a lot of interesting things. First, they see what appears to be a large alien humanoid guy sitting at a big console, I guess.
Ooh.
He's been dead for a long time.
He's very dead.
Okay.
He's like
dead.
He's like a mummified alien.
Great.
But what's strange about this mummified alien is that it seems to have died from a chest wound, but the chest wound has all of its bones and stuff breaking out and not in.
Oh.
Almost as if it somehow died from something bursting from its
Inside.
chest, which is that's crazy to think about. So this is the part where I had to remove myself and be like, okay, not knowing anything about aliens, this is starting to get spooky. There's that is interesting. Why would that happen? But unfortunately, I've seen Spaceballs, so I know all this stuff already.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, they're building the suspense. It's been a little.
I'm sure when it came out, real spooky.
They're like, whoa, this is weird. We discovered alien life. I don't know if they've ever met aliens before because they're pretty nonplussed by the whole thing. They're like, it's an alien. So I'm like, okay, do you know other aliens? But that never comes up later. They never are like, yeah, we know other aliens. We talk with them all the time. They're just like, yeah, aliens are out there. I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever.
An accepted fact.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, this is getting a little creepy. It's been kind of a slow build up until now, and it's been a little slow for my taste. But whatever, it's a suspense movie. That's what people are gonna say about this episode. Ha 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 ha. All right.
Every episode we do.
As they're
always slow build.
Yeah, it's true. But we're getting there because as they're investigating the ship more, they come across a strange sight. It's a field of large eggs, that are quite big, the size of a crock pot, I guess. I don't know.
Hard but gooey.
Yeah, maybe
a 5-quart crock pot.
Maybe that's more of a Midwest thing, but everybody know how big a crock pot is. But they discover all these eggs and they're like, whoa, this is a little wild. And the eggs are a bit unusual in that, unlike hard-shelled eggs, they are, as Ethan said, fleshy and gooey. But they also just open up at the top with their cavernous mouths.
The astute viewer may have noticed that the alien man that they saw earlier, his anus did not seem large enough to drop all of these eggs.
That was actually Ridley Scott did say. Okay. I want to talk about Ridley Scott a little bit later. I don't want to do it yet. But if any of these things sound weirdly sexy, even though they aren't, there's a reason for that. Anyway, Egg opens
Kind of
up.
weird.
Egg opens up as they're being investigated, and a thing comes out. Immediately attaches itself onto the face of First Officer Kane. They're wearing a spacesuit and everything, but this thing just flies right through the helmet and just boom, on the face, and it's just got a thing on his face right now. We will call these things a face hugger because that's what they are. Although they don't know that yet.
An app name.
And so they're starting to freak out. Captain Dallas is like, we're getting this guy back to the ship. We got to get him fixed up. They get back to the ship. They're just dragging this guy who's like, he's alive. He's not yet. Because he is. This creature is on his face, but he's still breathing and he still has a heart rate and everything.
Is this the time where people just assumed all planets had oxygen and that was cool?
Well, no. The thing on his face seems to be keeping him alive, Fran.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So.
I like that.
I feel like we're gonna get a lot of those throughout.
Yeah. This is why I don't watch.
Lizzie, Lizzie wouldn't watch.
They're
this
very
with me.
unpleasant sounding.
She said it's too gross.
Yeah.
All right, so they get him back to the ship. They're in the airlock, and Captain Dallas is like, "Let us in, Ripley. You gotta let me in. I'm the captain." And Ripley's like, "No, there's quarantine.
There's a thing on that guy's face.
There's quarantine procedure." And Lambert's like, no, you have to let us in. Like, we can save him, but we got to get to the medical bay. We got to do all this stuff. And Ripley's like, no, this is like a weird alien.
Right. This is exactly what quarantine is for.
This weird shit.
But Science Officer Ash is like, I disobey you, Ripley. I'm going to let them in because we're going to figure out what this... I'm a scientist, and I want to know what this face hugger is. So we're going to let them in, and we're going to do operation on them. So they bring him back to the operation bay. They have all their fancy like future science stuff, and they're like, yeah, he's totally alive and fine, but he is like, his face is just completely covered by this head crab thing.
Right. He's like,
so I do have to ask.
Yeah.
Is Sigourney Weaver, Ripley? Is she the only female in this crew?
No, Lambert is also a lady.
Okay, is Lambert the one that has the face thing on their face?
No, that's Officer Kane.
Okay.
Lambert is the one who's like, you gotta let him in, we could save him.
Okay.
I slightly
so it's not just like if they just had listened to the fucking woman kind of situation.
I slightly pitched up my voice a little bit for that one, if you noticed when I did the character voice.
I just assumed it was a whiny man.
I know, and that says a lot about you, Fran. But But another thing to note is that all the Alien movies do have one token black guy who is the best character in the movie, even though they all die. Bummer. In this one, the token black character is one of the engineers, who is like just a mountain of a man, a very strong dude. He's the only one who like fights it like successfully, so he's cool. I like him. I wish there was I wish there was more character with him, but again, his main character arc is I want more money, and then later it's I want to leave, which you know,
that's fair.
I guess it's relatable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get this face hugger off of him. But the face hugger also has this really long prehensile tail that's wrapped around Kane's throat, and whenever they try and remove it, the tail tightens up to start to choke him. And so they're like, whoa, hey,
maybe take the tail
we'll come
off
out with a
first,
different way. They're like, what if we like kill the creature and then we'll take it off? Cool. So they stab into it, and as they do, this liquid comes out and falls on the ground, and it starts to eat through the floor of the ship. And then they have this really funny like cartoon moment where they're like, it's dripping down through the ship. It's going to go through the hull. So they all start running down the stairs, and they like see it dripping down from the previous floor down onto the floor of the next floor. And they're like, it's going lower. And then they like run down the next set of stairs. And so they're like chasing this drip down the stairs.
I love that the director thought that was definitely a moment.
I love this moment. This was one of my favorite moments of the whole thing. So it's burning through all of the floors of the ship until eventually it stops. And they're like, it must have oxidized or whatever the fuck they came up with to why the acid doesn't be acid
something
forever.
About coolant.
Yeah. And they're like, the only substance that could do this would be atomic acid, which I don't know.
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, dude!
And
I love when we just get goof names like that.
Yeah, I do wish more people would just be like, whatever, it's a special type of acid. Who cares? It's science fiction. Shut up. It doesn't have to be real, dude. It's not. So they're like, okay, then this creature has acid for blood. Could that be some sort of defense mechanism? It can be, and it is. And so they're like, well, we can't like stab it or kill it because it'll just bleed all over everything and burn
Destroy
holes through
everything.
everybody.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, we don't really know what to do now. But fortunately, it just dies. The creature is done. It finishes, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of curls up like a little spider with it's got like a lot of like scorpion legs.
Appendages.
Yeah.
They're hugging the face, you see.
Right. And it just releases him and it curls up and Officer Kane is fine. He becomes conscious again. He gets up and he was like, "Whoa, that was crazy." And they're like, "Yeah, it was." Anyway, let's go eat dinner. So they all go to the mess hall to celebrate, saving their comrade. But Ash is like, I want to do some experiments on this little guy because I'm very interested in it.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you already have it. It's dead.
Can they do it in the airlock and quarantine them? Actually quarantine them?
Oh,
No?
friend, you don't understand
gotta
anything.
Celebrate. This dude's just like, hey, listen, I kind of feel like I got roofied and a fat load got shot down my throat, but right now I need me some bacon and eggs is what I need.
Yeah, they do the thing in the Matrix where they love to do where it's like, oh, this food sucks shit. It's like all synthetic bullshit and whatever, and it's like, all right, cool. But he's like, oh man, I'm so hungry. I feel like I could eat everything. And so he's eating a bunch and Parker's like, yeah, I can't wait to get back to Earth. We're gonna have as much tasty food as we can get. He's like, isn't that right, buddy? And then as he's like ribbing this other guy, Kane is he's like choking. He's like, oh, my tummy feels crazy. Oh, I hurt so bad. Oh, it must be something I ate or something.
Yeah, probably I just ate too much.
And then he starts convulsing and he's like flopping around on the table. He's like, and then as he's convulsing, just a little creature bursts out of his chest. We will call these creatures chest bursters.
Amazing.
And so now we're like, wait a second. That other alien had his chest burst out, and there were a bunch of these alien eggs around there. I wonder if something bad happened to him related to these guys, these little things. And this little creature, like, plows its way out. I love this little thing, by the way. It's so fast. It, like, pops out of his chest and just skitters, like, it skitters away. And they're like, fuck, it's just gone, dude. It's out of here. It's like it's like fleshy pink, covered in that guy's blood.
Yeah.
It's got like little claws, and it like runs around on all fours.
This
and
is
it's
the
just got a
beauty
big
of
alien
childbirth.
head. Yeah, it looks great. But another thing to note is it's just got a tiny little mouth, and inside of its tiny little mouth, it's got a tiny
another mouth.
A tinier little mouth. It's like, it's honestly quite cute, but it is very scary because it is very deadly.
And it did just burst out of a man's chest.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And
or
now,
stomach? Question mark?
They call chest burster. Yeah, it's
it's
ambiguous where it actually kind of lives.
It's like a torso burster,
it
but just
start
for
out-
like naming purposes.
It start out in the tummy, but then it does eat all of his internal organs and burst
Right.
out the chest.
And then makes his way
Which
out.
he doesn't die before then. He like, he's just hungry.
He just hungry.
Parasitic.
It's like a tapeworm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like a child. That's
So-
that's
No.
what childbirth is like exactly.
Okay, so it's pretty close. And so if it feels like there's a weird relationship with like female bodily functions in this movie, it's on purpose. All right. So they're like, all right, we gotta find this little thing because
No shit.
because it killed Kane.
Can't just have it out.
Right.
Almost like if he actually followed quarantine protocols.
No, that doesn't make any sense, friend.
Silly.
Fuck, guys.
So they are like, well, I don't know how we're gonna find it. We do have a flamethrower for some reason. That's like standard
Great.
issue.
Yeah.
Love that.
But we only have one. So we'll
No fire extinguisher either.
or actually
presumably.
I think they have fire extinguishers. Remember in the first
okay.
scene when they crash landed, everything started on fire? They
Oh, okay.
specifically showed them having fire extinguishers.
Oh, great.
Um,
So if we have flamethrower, you're fine.
I do think they actually have 2 flamethrowers, but they're searching for this creature and they don't know how to find it. And so Science Officer Ash says, I have created this device which can detect the micro fluctuations in air density, which means it can sense if there's a little creature that's breathing somewhere around. And they're all like, he's full of bullshit, but whatever.
Sure.
Like they literally are like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
They use it. They're trying to track the creature down, and they're gonna corner it. And then they have the best jump scare in the whole movie, where they corner it to a little box, and then they open the box, and a fucking cat jumps out. It's like cat, because I didn't mention this earlier, but Ripley has a pet cat who was sleeping with her in cryostasis. Who is named
Is the
Jones.
cat also in cryostasis?
Correct.
It was.
Yes. Yep.
Aw.
So it's the ship's cat.
Love it.
As every ship
For all the
needs
mouses.
needs a mouser. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the cat's running around as well. Just a heads up. There's some like parallels because cats are kind of like, apex predators, and that's kind of what this thing might be. But they're
But Predator's a different movie.
We'll get there, friend. They're chasing it around, and eventually they find it. But it's a little bit bigger this time. You see, as they have been chasing it around, they have been finding these like leavings, these like moltings, all over the place, and they're like, it's like shedding its skin. That's kind of
Gross.
strange. Now the creature is huge. It's over 7 feet tall. It's got a huge bulbous head.
Really got a lot bigger.
And it has what is now called a biomechanical aesthetic. It looks like it's kind of robotic, but it is all like biological.
Did it turn into a xenomorph?
It is now in its what we would call a xenomorph form.
Okay. So yeah.
So the xenomorph's running around. It kills the captain. He tries to flamethrower it. Doesn't work. Kills the engineer Brett. He's like the first to die. To the xenomorph. The creature is on top of, it's like completely black. On top of that, it's very wet. It's constantly wet. I have a theory.
It always looks shiny.
I have a theory for that. I think it's because the suit they used was like a latex rubber suit, and they didn't want it to look like latex rubber. And the best solution they could come up with was like, well, what if the alien is just really wet?
Yeah, I mean, this is legitimately the era of wet puppets in horror movies.
So they just it's not like goopy wet. He's just really wet. Like it's like just water.
Misted
I think
at all times.
Yeah.
Are we still on the planet?
We have left the planet now. They were able once they figured out the face hugger thing. They linked back up with their spaceship up there.
Got it.
And they're like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Specifically, Parker is like, what if we just take the lifeboat, we just leave, and fuck the rest of the ship? Let's get out of here.
Yeah. It's the alien ship now. They can have it.
Exactly. And they're like, Ripley's like, no, we should kill it. That's what the captain would have wanted. I'm in charge now. And Ash is like, you are not in charge now. I am being in charge now. And Ripley's like, that's not how the chain of command works. And he's
Not
like,
how this works.
He's like, oh, really? Why don't you go ask Mother about it? So she's like, fine, I will. And then she goes to the mother. She goes to the mother. She goes to the mother computer and she's like, Mother, what's going on here? Why'd you send us over to do this thing? We want to leave and we want to kill this alien and all sorts of things. And then she's like, you can't kill the alien. You need to bring the alien back to Earth. And so Ash is like, what did it say, huh? And she's like, this doesn't make any sense. This creature is too dangerous. And I don't like the way you've been acting, Ash. You violated the quarantine protocol and you've been pushing us to like get this thing this whole time. It's like, I don't like what you're up to and I'm gonna hurt you now.
Great.
And then he's like, you can try if you think that you can defeat me, but I'm pretty strong. And then he like throws Ripley around and you're like, oh shit, this old science guy's like really strong. What the hell? And then, I forgot to mention there was an earlier scene that I noted pretty quick, but I didn't know the rest of the plot of the movie. He's just like drinking milk a bunch, which is weird. Oh. He just loves drinking milk, I guess. I was like, okay. I guess this is like future milk that they drink or whatever. But she gets like a hit off on Ash, and as she does, he starts bleeding this milky white substance.
Ew.
And she's like, what the fuck? Are you a goddamn synthetic human? Because those exist, Fran. We didn't know about them until right now, but they're robots that look like humans. Not? And he's like, yeah, I'm a synthetic human. The company sent me. They always wanted us to go to this planet because they knew that there was probably aliens there, and they wanted me to bring back the aliens. That's why your normal science guy, who earlier you said, how come our normal science guy isn't here? And they're like, oh, they replaced him at the last minute with this guy. That he's gone because I follow the company's orders because I'm a robot and I wanted the alien and I want to bring the alien back and I'm gonna do it. And furthermore, I respect the alien. I think it's the perfect organism. He says it's the perfect organism. It only knows how to survive. It only knows how to kill. It doesn't get caught up on things like morality. I think it's way better than you dumbass humans. And I hope you get killed. I think it would be good.
And then Ripley was like, well, if the company knew and all of this, why didn't they just send like a full team of robots? And Ash was like, that wouldn't be very cost effective.
Yeah, I'm very expensive. And so she's like trying to.
Can facehuggers work on synthetic humans?
Probably not.
They cannot. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But yeah, that's very astute, Fran. And so
they needed one human.
Yeah, that actually might be part of it. And so Ash is like,
Shucks.
I'm gonna kill you now, Ripley, because you know too much. But Parker shows up and he's like, what the fuck? I hate synthetics, I guess. And he just fucking rips his head off. Because he's so big and strong and he's a powerful warrior.
Love it.
And then they're like, okay, let's turn the head back on and we're gonna ask it some questions. And we're going to figure out what the fuck's going on here. And then he reveals all the stuff I just said. Sorry, it was out of order, but he's just ahead. He's pacified. He's ahead now. And so they're like, all right, fuck you, Ash. You're the worst. You tricked us all. They flamethrower him to death.
Great. Love it. Cathartic.
Yeah. And then Ripley's now like, okay, I like the plan where we leave the ship and use the built-in self-destruct that every spaceship has to blow the ship up with the alien, and then we'll be on the lifeboat, and we'll hope someone picks us up. There's 3 of them left. Yeah. There's the navigator, there's Parker the engineer, and there's Ripley. And
I assumed every piece of 21st century technology always has a self-destruct button in it.
Right. Well, and then at this point, they're like, we're gonna need extra coolant for the lifeboat, so you guys go get coolant, and I'm gonna go to the lifeboat and get it ready to launch, and then we'll all meet up in the lifeboat and we'll get the hell out of here. And then as they're getting the lifeboat ready, Ripley remembers that she has a cat that she likes, and so she tries to find Jonesy and get him into a little cat carrier and get him back, which she does. She finds Jonesy.
Oh, good.
She scares the shit out of her again. But she gets him a cat. She gets him in a cat carrier, and they get ready to go. And while all this is happening, Parker and Lambert are attacked by the xenomorph alien. And at this point, the xenomorph alien has its signature attack, which is it just kind of grabs you with its strong monster strength, and it shoots its little inside mouth into you, and it just makes a hole inside of you, and you're just dead now. It just goes.
Ew.
And they never show it
Also,
doing
ew.
it because it's old timey. They just show like the mouth
It's
coming
implied.
out, and
Right.
and then it like cuts to the person with the hole in their chest, and like and it happens so fast every time. It's literally just like no, and then he's dead. It's the perfect organism.
Yeah.
Efficient.
Exactly.
That's what
and-
capitalism wants is efficiency.
And Ripley's like, damn, they're dead. Well, I don't need the extra coolant anymore because I guess the lifeboat is for one person, which is weird. There's only one of them, but whatever. With the it knows that we're a crew of 7, but
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah.
And so she is able to Jesus. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it's so weird and specific. She like opens this hatch and it has the instructions for how to explode the ship. And
Great.
we as the audience are supposed to read it to understand the stakes because it explains this whole thing on the panel. And it's like, activate to start a 10-minute timer for ship self-destruct. After 5 minutes, the self-destruct can no longer be canceled. So she's like, all right. She starts to self-destruct. She sees that her crewmates have been killed. And she goes back and she's like, between her and the lifeboat is the alien. So she's like, I gotta stop the self-destruct. And she goes back, but she's not in time. It's already been the 5 minutes since the initial 10-minute timer has started, so she can't cancel it anymore. So she then has to say, all right, just got to try to get past this alien. And she does. The alien's just not there anymore. And so she's like, oh, cool. She gets on the lifeboat just in the nick of time. She launches off of the lifeboat. Her and Jonesy are flung off into space. And the ship explodes, and the self-destruct sequence is like crazy. It blows the ship up like 3 separate times. It's like, what is this made for? I guess this exact situation.
Yeah.
But Ripley has saved herself. She's escaped the alien. The whole sequence was really hard for me to watch. It's really stroby.
Sure.
It's
Before epilepsy warning.
Yeah, it's very challenging. But she floats out into space, and she's like, whew. I guess I survived. That's great
Kitty
news.
cat didn't get infected, did he?
No. The
Okay,
cat.
he's good.
Let me
Cat's
spoil.
the cat?
Let me spoil the whole series. The cat's fine. Nothing happens to the cat.
Right. Good.
I know. I'm sure these days they would have to say that up front. They would have to break the fourth wall, look into the camera, and be like, "Don't worry, guys. The cat's gonna be fine." And then everyone's
That's
like,
all I care
"Fine.
about
I'll
at this
keep watching
point.
this."
I need
movie."
Jonesy to be good.
So, Ripley gets naked because she's gonna go back into cryo sleep. She gets in her undies.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
you cryo sleep in undies. I
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
just to see
Just
girl butts. She's wearing the
Okay.
weirdest underwear ever, by the way. It's like weirdly low and high
It's
at the same
future.
time. Yeah,
Future underwear.
whatever. I'm sure if you were in the 70s and 80s, you'd be like, this is the hottest thing I've ever seen. But I have access to pornography, so it's okay. But she is getting ready to go back to cryo sleep. She puts Jonesy in the cryo sleep chamber. And she's like doing her captain's log, all that kind of bullshit. But then as she is concluding, she sees, taking a little nap in the corner for some reason, I guess they sleep, the xenomorph is all curled up. She couldn't see it because it was hidden in the
fuck's sake.
shadows. But it has escaped onto the escape pod with her. And so she hides inside of like a closet that contains a suit, like the exosuits.
Mhm.
And she comes up with a plan. And she puts on the exosuit while the creature is stirring and kind of like looking for her. And then as she puts on the suit, she decides to open the airlock. And so she does. And the alien creature is sucked out of the airlock. And,
right.
and Ripley uses like a grappling hook, which she just had, I guess, to like shoot it out of the
Part
airlock.
of the exosuit.
Yeah, I guess. It's cool. And then it like grabs onto the grappling hook as it gets shot out. She like closes the airlock and it like tries to crawl back, but then it like lands in the engine, and then she like turns on the engine full throttle, and it fries the alien and boosts it
Nice.
off into the vacuum of space.
Love that.
And so Ripley has defeated the alien in
Great.
Alien. And then she's like, whew, I hope I never see an alien again. I'm gonna go into cryosleep and hope that I get picked up very soon. And then
I've only got so much coolant.
yeah, exactly. And then that's the end of Alien.
Great.
So there's a lot of like production fun facts or whatever about this. Mainly, like you said, Ridley Scott directed it. He wanted an alien that was that made people uncomfortable, that got to people in a lot of different ways.
I'm already uncomfortable.
But he also was really obviously enthralled with some of the science fiction of previous generations and also current. And so he got this other guy called H.R. Giger to he was like a prominent artist. And he did a lot of like very uncomfortable art that had a lot of
stuff.
It did a lot of depictions of like humanity mixed with machinery in a very like unsettling kind of way, a very thought-provoking kind of way. You know, it's we're getting to, from the 70s to the 80s, technology is advancing a whole lot. We're getting all this like clash between like, what's the difference between humanity and robots and stuff like that. And so Ridley Scott was getting all of these people together to make this movie. I guess it all goes back to Dune, as most things do. But he was trying to make a Dune movie. And then he had all these like scripts and he had all these people lined up and he just couldn't get the funding for it. They're like, nobody wants to see a Dune movie in the year of our Lord 1975. And so there was all this other stuff. But what happened is he ended up like meeting all these other people and like getting this group together, and they were like, we're gonna make a science fiction. Like, we want to make like a science fiction, and we want it to be like gritty and uncomfortable, and like the set design. I noted this pretty easily when I was watching the movie, but like the set design of the ship, it feels alien. Like the ship doesn't feel like humans made it, even though in the context of the show they did. It feels like it's really strangely designed, but it also feels like really claustrophobic. And I feel like they built the ship as like, they didn't build it like a set. They built it like what they thought a ship would look like. And so like the camera is always really close to everybody, because I think they were just inside this thing like filming them, and they like didn't have room for like regular camera work. And so everything feels like really claustrophobic and really like
keeps you on edge.
Yeah, like takes your breath away a little bit. And then the alien design is based on one of Giger's previous works. And if you think that the alien head looks like a big dick, it's because it is a big dick. Again, he wrote a lot of like human combined with machine type things, and specifically with an eye towards
penises?
Human genitalia, and like human form stuff. So the original design looks a lot more like penis head.
Yeah, I mean, they were literally like, hey, can you take like the phalange of the head of the penis off, and then we'll call it good?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But it was
I did not think it looked like a penis. So that's new information.
The original design is a lot more penis-y. But yeah, that's where the original design comes from, and it has like a lithe lady body with a penis head, and it's like a whole thing. And
70s are a wild time.
Well, and I guess Ridley Scott was like, I wanted to create an alien that reproduced in the most in a way that would make the audience most discomforting. And what's more discomforting to a male demographic audience than a creature face raping you and putting an egg in you? Like, he was literally
that would
like,
make men really uncomfortable.
He was literally like,
true.
That's why I did it. That's why the alien does that, because it does a unconsensual sex on you, forcing you to become impregnated. And it does it. I didn't really mention it, but the facehugger does have like the big dick that comes out of it that like goes into your mouth to impregnate you. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah, when I said that he took a fat load, I was not.
That's the
so
intention. Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. But that's the original one. Again, it was really atmospheric. They set up these like creepy aliens that like did bad things to you and like fucked around with you, and that it felt like unstoppable, the perfect organism. They had this like weird, sexy design to them. Like the eggs that they come out of is like fleshy and like a toothy vagina kind of thing. It's just all like, it's all gross. It's all disgusting.
Yeah,
it all sounds very innovative for the time.
It was. I mean, yeah, it was very innovative, and it was also like there's a lot of clever stuff that we would not appreciate in our context today. You know, like CJ said, Sigourney Weaver was not the front billing, right? This was her first movie, and so it would have been like a total shocker to audiences at the time when the captain, like a much better known actor, just fucking dies, and then it's like it's about this lady.
I have a feeling that the whole like the amount of suspense the movie has, it sounds like that wasn't very common in movie making at that time, probably.
It definitely.
So I'm sure that was another piece of it.
I mean, it follows in the vein of things like The Thing, where it was like you don't know what these creatures are or what they're capable of. Like, obviously, we know now because it's been done so much. Like I said, it was in Spaceballs to have like a chest burster. It's like it was iconic, and it was such a good, unique design that they put it in like basically everything for many years after. It was super influential in the science fiction stuff. And specifically too, this like idea of bio-robotic design of this like things that are organic but look like they're robotic, and that kind of clashes with our whole way that we see things, because when we think about, you know, biological stuff, we think of them a certain way. We don't think of them as having like hard lines across them and like very specific design things, because that's not how things look like in nature. We, you know, it clashes with what we think. So that was the original. And
that was a great movie. I'm glad that we talked about it, and we're all done now.
Now wait, Ethan, don't you want to know what happens to Ridley? Like, we know she got away.
Ridley and Jonesy are doing great,
but we know that there's only one. There's only one alien, and she got rid of it, and that's good. Except that there were all those other eggs, though.
There's a whole fucking planet. Yeah.
So one could wonder to themselves, man, if that is what it takes to beat one alien, what would it take to beat aliens, plural?
Did we figure out if it was flammable? It was, I guess. The engine did crisp it up.
They did not. Yeah, that's
true. They're just so moist.
They never seem to really kill them with fire, but they say several times in later movies, they're like, it's afraid of fire. And I'm like, I never got that impression from them. No. They never seemed that scared of fire. But whatever. So let's move on then to Aliens, the sequel to Alien. You could call it Alien 2, but it is just called Aliens.
Aliens.
I think this is a more palatable movie for a modern audience, but I also think it kind of undermines a bunch of this, like, what makes the original one good.
When did this one come out?
This one came out in 1986.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a very fast turnaround.
No, they didn't used to do, 3 movie production cycles where they just do them all at once, and they're like, doesn't really matter how, like, we'll get our money back. They didn't really care about that kind of stuff. And most notably, the director changed hands. It is no longer Ridley Scott. It was taken over by one Jimmy C. That's right. The guy who made the Titanic, James Cameron, is now going to direct an Alien movie. And I will say the shooting's a lot cleaner. It looks like a director who, makes movies like that. It looks like a James Cameron movie for sure.
Okay.
It's a lot cleaner, but it does lose a lot of the whole like creepy aesthetics that made the first one as iconic as it is. But
question about James Cameron then.
Oh, okay.
Is this like one of the first films
No.
he's filmed, or was he well known by this point?
No, he was. Let's take a look.
Was he already planning Avatar?
Since the moment he was born, he's been planning Avatar.
No, he
Just
he had already done. He was doing consulting work for a bunch of stuff.
I mean, he did the Terminator before this. And
Yeah,
okay.
that's
like
that's true.
the biggin.
Okay.
He also he worked with John Carpenter a lot. He worked on Escape from New York. He worked on
Okay.
Halloween.
Okay.
Then James Cameron wrote the script for Terminator.
Gotcha.
So yeah, he was doing stuff. This is not his first
So
thing.
we're wheeling and dealing with a Hollywood director.
Yeah, but most notably, he was more of an action guy at that point.
Okay.
He was not really a thriller dude, and it shows in this movie.
Mhm.
It's not really a thriller. It's more of a monster action movie.
Okay.
But it has been 57 years since Ripley froze herself in space. That's right. She thought she would wake up a lot sooner, but it's just 57 years later. The company is still around, and they unfreeze her, and they're like, "Hey, it's been 57 years since you froze yourself. So
You're not being paid for that time."
right. So she's like, that's longer than I expected, but she pretty much rolls with it immediately. She's like, okay, whatever.
All right.
It doesn't really matter, I guess. Which is weird, as we'll find out later, but whatever. So, we now know that the company is called the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, which is implied to be a merger between an influential Western British company and an Eastern company, and it kind of implies that it's it is global capitalism now. It's just one big company.
We love that.
They own all the ships. They're really interested in weapons. It's every once in a while they imply that there's urban unrest and they need new weapons to keep down, I guess, these normal
The
people.
uprisings?
Yeah, which is okay, whatever. I don't think you need an alien to do that, but whatever.
Hey, apparently these civilians really a lot of unrest.
But a representative from the company comes to Ripley and they're like, "Hey, so you guys were originally, you went to the planet LV-426, and you found that alien. Well, we knew about that, but we decided to colonize that planet because
Holy shit.
we felt like it.
Why?
Because the real reason is because
God.
there's aliens there and they want
Yeah,
the
but
aliens. But
colonize it?
yeah, so they're like, the thing is, we lost contact with the colonists, and you have
no shit.
You have experience with LV-426, so could you go back there and
No.
help figure out what's going on? And she's like, no, there's death there. You should just they're all dead. You should just never go there is what you should do.
Why?
And they're like, well, the company really wants us to go there.
You
so
guys can go.
well,
I'll consult.
it's kind
There's
of
a consulting fee.
it's kind of implied that Ripley is a pariah now because she was the sole survivor of her ship and she blew it up. And nobody believes her alien story. So she's she can't get work and she's struggling, and they're like, we can reinstate you to where you were before and all of this other good stuff.
Get all those sweet health benefits.
All you have to do is go back to this scary place and just be a consultant. We're gonna send in some real soldiers this time. It's not just gonna be a bunch of randos. We're gonna send in some soldiers, figure out what happened there, and you just have to help them.
Aliens.
You just have to help them out. And she's like, fine, I'll do that because girls gotta eat, I guess. So they're like, okay,
might as well get your food from your employer because you can't get it anywhere else.
Listen, I went and I talked to a lawyer about suing you guys for sending a killer robot with us and to get an alien, and he laughed at me. So I guess I work for you again.
Yeah. And so they
probably got ping pong tables in the lounge and washer and dryers there, so you never have to leave. And
love it. God, the future is so bright.
Okay. so they all get ready to go. There's all these Marines. I do kind of like the Marines. I think they're very fun and cool. They're super like, again, it reminds me of a lot of characters from like Halo, which is not an accident. Those characters are based on, you know, a lot of these alien guys. But they're
is Doom also somewhat related to this, because wasn't he a military?
I don't know
guy?
if Doom's.
It's hard to love the military.
I'm sure there's some inspiration from all over the place, but this is very like Halo specific. There's like the like leader Marine guy who's just like he's the token black guy for this one, but he like they're all waking up from cryo sleep or whatever, and everyone's like hacking up and coughing and like throwing up, because that's what you do when you come out of cryo sleep. And like he wakes up and he just like takes a cigar out of his cryopod and like puts it in his mouth and lights it up right away. He's like, it's another beautiful day in the Marines, boys. And so they have all these like cool characters. There's you know, they're all like real gung-ho. They're like super excited to go fight these things.
Great.
And Ripley's like, you should not be excited to fight these things. These things are
They're
crazy.
not great.
These things are crazy scary. They're gonna kill us all. It's gonna be a bad time, but
we're gonna follow quarantine orders this time.
Good luck, guys. I don't need to go beat for beat because it's mostly an action movie. But what happens is they get to the colony. The colony is a big like terraforming plant, so it's basically a big nuclear reactor that like makes air, I guess. You know.
I have a very important question.
Yeah, what's up?
Did the cat come?
No, specifically at the beginning of the movie, Ripley's like, all right, Jonesy, you're an asshole, by the way. Which, yeah, the cat is an asshole. But it's like, you can't come with me this time. I'm gonna go by myself. And so she leaves her cat behind. So
okay.
Jonesy gets
Cat's
to live out
fine.
Jonesy gets to live out the rest of his life just doing cat stuff.
Hell yeah, love that. Okay, I needed that.
Yeah, we'll never see Jones again, but he is fine.
Right.
So they send all those Marines and Ripley to the planet, and of course, all the alien eggs infected all of the colonists. And
no shit.
They turn them into a bunch of aliens.
Wow.
And so the Marines, though, way better equipped than the original space truckers that came across them. And so there's like dozens.
It's also 57 years of weapons advancement.
There's scores of aliens everywhere, and they're just blasting through them. But again, when you shoot them, they explode into a big acid explosion. So they're like all like, I'm getting acided on top of everything else. And it's just a bad time for them. They're having a bad time, and they're losing men. They're like, we got to get out of here. Of course, something happens. The dropship explodes because an alien got on the dropship somehow. And it's a bad time. They're called xenomorphs, I know, but I just think it's funny to call them the alien from Aliens.
It's alien.
Yeah. And most notably, the big thing that happens here is Ripley really takes charge of the group. They have like an inexperienced lieutenant guy for some reason, and he's like freaking out. One of those. This movie is extremely quotable. I will say that too. I did not realize how many quotes came from this movie. But there's one scene in particular I really love where just like it's like back to back to back. They're just quoting stuff. Like one of the Marines is like, "It's game over, man. It's game over." And then there's like a little girl, and she's like, "Well, they mostly come at night." Mostly. And I'm just like, oh, okay. It's like every quote comes from this movie. Cool. It's like seriously just bang, bang, bang. I love the guy who's like, oh man, we're not gonna make it, dude. We're gonna die out here. And they're like, shut up, dude. And he's like, oh, it doesn't matter, man. It's over. He's cool. But he does die, obviously. I mean, that's
it was in fact game over.
There is also a notable addition of a fan favorite. There is another synthetic. He's not secretly a synthetic. He just is. His name is Bishop.
Okay.
And Bishop Bishop he's like, no, you must have dealt with an older model of synthetic guys, because now we're supposed to just be helpful. We never put human lives in danger. Like,
we're never evil.
We're good now.
We're never having ulterior motives.
The first round of them, they did have free reign to just kill whoever. I now have a limiter in my head, which means no matter how much I want to murder you, I'm not allowed.
It's true. And to his credit,
regulations happened on Earth.
He is a good guy through the rest of the movie. So, although there's like some like tension with Ripley, she's like, I was betrayed before by a robot, and I don't super trust you, but he comes through in the end.
Okay.
So they're like seeing that all the colonists are actually not just here to colonize. They're clearly doing experiments on the aliens. They're trying to, like breed them and raise them and figure them out. And everyone in the colony died except for one little girl who was hiding in the ventilation system, who is named Newt, and she is a scrappy survivor, and she eventually latches on to Ripley as kind of a mother figure, and Ripley protects her. Again, there's a lot of like there's a lot of themes in all the alien movies about like about, you know, mother instincts, fathers. It's like the mothers are always like the more nurturing, and the fathers are always like more cold and distant, and all this other stuff. At a certain point, I don't remember when it actually happens, but like the ship computers are replaced with a different AI called Father. And it's, I don't know. It's just like a background thing that's happening, and you're supposed to be like, oh, I get it. It used to be called Mother. I don't. The problem with all of this is none of the lore. Okay, the first three movies do follow each other, so it's pretty easy. But like they didn't care about creating a coherent lore. This is the problem I'm having with this one. Is it's not like it doesn't make sense. I guess we're gonna start to get crazy now. So they go through this whole thing. The whole thing is now they're trying to just get off this. They're trying to get off of this fucking thing. Obviously, the company was experimenting on aliens. They're over it. They're going to use the nuclear reactor in the terraforming thing to blow up the whole goddamn facility. And they're going to fly out of here.
Love it.
And Ripley's going to save this little kid. And they're going to become like mother and daughter. And it's going to be a great time. And all the Marines are dying. They're all having their cool moments where they're fucking getting killed. And like, I'm taking you with me, you damn bastard. I'm going to blow myself up with a grenade. Ripley starts to have a bit of a thing with one of the Marines. Seems like
we always need a little romance.
He seems like she hasn't really been interested in like any romance so far, and they don't like do it or anything, but they like, you know, there's some chemistry there.
Okay.
And he's the last guy who survives as well. And
it's an attractive quality, a survivor.
The big thing that comes out of this one is they discover a xenomorph queen, which is a xenomorph that has evolved even further, and it just has this huge egg sac that's like attached to it, and it's just like suspended in the rafters in this area, and all it's doing is laying all these eggs. And what they realize about the xenomorphs is that if they can, they will not kill you. They will take you, and they'll wrap you up like a spider in a spider web, and they'll put one of the eggs in front of you so that the face hugger will infect you, birthing new xenomorphs. So it seems that
smart.
this is their life cycle. They are laid as eggs by the xenomorph queen. They are implanted via the face huggers into a host, some kind of host, and then they emerge as the xenomorph. And it's also implied that the xenomorph takes on some of the traits of its host. It like it takes some of the DNA of its host body and mixes it in a little bit, because later there's one that like infects a dog, and the dog it like gets some more dog-like qualities. Okay. So
what did they do before humans came to reproduce then?
I hope there's a bunch of prequels that tell me what they used to do.
Oh, great. Awesome. Great.
Stupid. You dumb idiot. Your monkey paw wish will be fulfilled, but it's going to be dumb.
This is now the rest of this is Fran's
God
fault.
damn. Every time we're like, where did those things come from? And I'm like, that's a stupid question. It doesn't matter. That being said, apparently other people were wondering that and decided to make whole goddamn movies about it. Absurd.
Of course.
Anyway, they fight the alien queen. The Ripley burns all her eggs, and now it's like mother versus mother because she's protecting her surrogate daughter Newt, and the alien mother is upset because Ripley blew up all of her precious eggs, and so she like rips the big egg sac off of her. She becomes mobile, and she's chasing them down.
You should mention Ripley is in a large like mech suit thing at this time. She doesn't just rip the fucking egg sac.
No, they
off,
rip.
like...
No, the alien rips her own egg sac off to come chase after her. But then now, because she's the alien queen is also way bigger than the normal xenomorphs, and so she's chasing after Ripley. And earlier it was set up that because Ripley's an engineer, she knows how to pilot these like mech suits, which are basically just forklifts for them, which is absurd. They're like military guys, and they have these like big mech suits, and no one thought to put like a gun on it and use those, but whatever. And so they have the big climactic final battle where Ripley gets in one of these front loaders and she's just like punching it with what is essentially a future forklift. She's forklift certified. And she's able to fight back the alien queen. And again, they do the only way there is to make sure an alien dies is they shove it out the airlock and it falls into the vacuum of space.
Great.
They were escaping the explosion, and the xenomorph again secretly gets on the ship, and then that's when they're fighting, and then she kicks her out of the airlock, and she survives. Bishop is mostly destroyed during this, but he is mostly destroyed protecting the other two, and he saves Newt, and Ripley's like, thank you, you saved us, and that other soldier guy is really fucked up, but he is alive still. And so Ripley puts herself and Newt and the other guy into a cryotube, and then she like puts Bishop's top half in a plastic bag, and then they get onto the lifeboat again, and they're just in the regular ship right now, and they start traveling back home, survivors to the end, and it's really heartwarming. Like Ripley, like kind of comes into motherhood, and she has this like strong bond with this daughter, and it's kind of implied that they're gonna like live together and like be mother and daughter again. And then she's kind of got like a man friend, and you know, it's like, oh, finally a happy ending. Something's good happens to Ripley, and that's nice. That's nice to see. And then an emergency happens on the way back, and all of the cryopods get jettisoned out of the ship because it's exploding, and Ripley's new daughter and her boyfriend and the robot all die. And Ripley is alive somehow, and now we're at the beginning of Alien 3, because at the beginning of Alien 3, they just kill that little girl and that other dude that they so heartwarmingly saved in the previous one. They're just first scene, dead slate. Girl.
Wow.
All right, I gotta get more coffee. I fucking hate this movie.
This is not a good one.
Yeah, so I will say diplomatic with my readings of the last one, because I know people really like the first two, and I don't think they're bad. Like I said, I think they're a little dated, but I think they're pretty solid movies for what they are. It's super influential, all that stuff. This next one is one of the, I had to like go immediately on the internet and be like, I was like halfway through this movie and I was like, does Alien 3 suck ass? And of course you always get some people who are like, it's actually a pretty solid entry into the Alien franchise. But every real person I've talked to, like a human being, not just some random person on the internet, they're like, no, Alien 3 is one of the worst movies ever. And I agree. So again, we're not going to go as like in depth into all of this. I don't really give a shit about the background of all of these.
That's the most important parts.
I'm not even going to like look up. I'm not going to like, I've kind of been following the plot synopses on these. I'm not even going to do that. I am going to just say what I remember and tell in the grand tradition of oral storytelling. I'm going to just tell you guys what this stuff is, and I'll let you decide how you feel about it. But we're in Aliens 3. Aliens Cubed, as it's because the Alien sequels can't have normal sequel names. So Alien 2 is Aliens, Alien 3 is Alien, but with the 3 as a little superscript. So Alien 3. Ripley,
alien time alien.
Exactly. Ripley has landed on this planet, which is a planet inhabited only with men who call themselves double Y chromos.
Okay, I'm sorry to ask a why question right away.
Yeah.
Why was she sent here?
She crashed here.
Okay, she crashed here.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Her something happened on the ship between movies. She can only
Got
see
it.
them in flashbacks. Oh, explosions. Oh, an alien maybe?
Dead
I don't know.
child.
Dead child. Dead boyfriend.
Got it.
Dead bishop.
Got it.
So she's like, oh, fuck. I crash landed on this planet. It's a prison planet. These are all prisoners. They're all like, we're terrible people, and we're all men. And the sight of a woman gets us all worked up, and we don't want you here.
Okay.
And she's like, well, that's great news, because I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here. Yeah, like I want to go. Like
the
mutual
dad
agreement.
The dad from the Dragon HBO show, fucking the you know the one. The
House of Dragons?
No, the other one. The Song of Fire and Ice one. The
Game of Thrones.
The Lannister
Got it.
dad. He's there.
Okay.
Sure. Mhm.
He's the doctor. He's the prison doctor. He's like nice though. They're like, why are you here if you're so nice? He's like, well, I'm the doctor. And they're like, well, then why'd they assign you to this shithole? And he's like, I was addicted to morphine. And I thought through the whole movie he was gonna be a synthetic dude because he was like, I don't know, he was like too nice. He was like too cooperative. He like didn't have a place with the rest of
Some
these guys.
people can just be nice, CJ.
And I was like, okay, he's gonna turn out to be a synthetic guy, but no, he was just addicted to painkillers. So there's that. Ripley fucks him pretty quick. She's like the first guy she meets. She's like, I'm horny now, and I want to have sex, and so she does on this guy. And he's like,
is James Cameron directing this film too?
No.
Fucking no,
Okay.
probably not.
No.
It's just some other guy.
Okay. Definitely somebody else. Got it. Okay.
And they're like, all right, well, we called the company and told them that you're here, and they really want to get you back home. So we're just gonna keep you here. Nothing's gonna happen. The company's gonna come pick you up, take you home. She's like, okay, cool. And they're like, lay low because these guys are unconsensual sex havers with women.
Misogynists and rapists.
You're right.
Right.
And so she's like, all right, whatever. She does not heed that advice. She is talking with all of them constantly, and they're all like, yeah, we're repentant sinners.
Man
we're,
wrote the script.
we're murderers and rapists, but we know that we are bad, but we still have carnal desires because you're a woman. And and again, there's a token black guy who's like, I'm a murderer and a rapist of women, and you better stay away from me because I have found God, but I would not be tempted by a seductress like you. And they're like, okay, whoa, dude, Jesus, okay.
Yes,
much.
Jesus, that's what I said.
This sounds awful. This sounds
it's
awful.
really bad. And like the whole
Why?
thing is she's surrounded by rapists, and the first thing she does is bang some dude. I'm like, I don't think women get horny when they're surrounded by guys trying
Once
to...
again, a man definitely wrote the script
But
and
CJ,
directed it.
Yeah, Ethan?
isn't there a reason that she's horny?
No.
No, is this not related?
That's
to
not the other.
alien
No,
DNA?
that's not the other
No.
thing. No,
Okay.
that's unrelated. I'm afraid she just is horny.
Okay.
Yeah. As we go through, we discover that there was a surviving face hugger that was on the ship, and
Of course there was.
it infects a dog. And the dog has a chest burster come out, and then we get a new... This one, I will say, of all the faults of this movie, has the best xenomorph, because the xenomorph is a puppet on a bunch of sticks. And they puppeted him, and then they used late 80s technology to superimpose that puppetry onto the scene. And he looks exactly like a puppet. It's the best fucking thing ever. Because they show him crawl around chasing people, and he's like, he's like chasing people, and I'm like, that would be very scary if I saw that running at me. A huge thing, just kind of being like, I love that. I think that's the best iteration of the alien to date. But so again, she's just on this prison ship surrounded by the worst possible guys, trying to get off of the ship. She's freaking out. She like wants to have her surrogate daughter cremated because she's convinced that she's got a chest burster inside of her and she doesn't want to be too careful. So she has the bodies of her old crew burned, and all this other stuff, and the xenomorph starts attacking, and
the dog xenomorph.
Yeah. It starts killing all the guys, and they're like, we gotta kill this guy, and they don't have any weapons because it's a prison, and so there's that whole thing. And it's just so stupid. And they're like, they try to rape Ripley at one point, and then the one token black guy shows up and starts beating their ass because they're trying to do the thing where it's like, oh, isn't this kind of like what the aliens are doing? That's kind of gross.
That's just gross on a different way.
Yeah, it is. They don't do it though, but there is the scene where they try, and that's fun to watch. And then the black guy comes back, and he's like beating their ass, and he's like, "You boys have been sinning. You boys sinning again?" And they start kicking their ass. And then the alien kills all these guys, but they're trying to kill the alien, and they're like, well, this place used to be a lead refinery. So what if we poured molten lead over the alien? That will kill the alien. And up until this point, the alien's been fairly killable. It's very strong, but like if you set it on fire or you blow its brains out or whatever, it dies. Yeah. So it's like, okay, it's mortal. So they come up with this plan to kill the alien. Ripley discovers that she has a chest burster inside of her. She got impregnated during that whole like in between the movies thing when all that chaos happened. All these chest bursters or all these face huggers got out and infected her, and that's where all of the creatures were coming from. And so she's like, "You gotta kill me." And the Black Saint guy is like, "I will kill you only when you help me kill the xenomorph." And then she's like, fine, whatever. So they have this whole convoluted plot where they like lead the xenomorph into this big cauldron, and then they pour molten lead on it. And they're like, we did it. We killed the xenomorph. And Ripley figures all this out because at one point she goes into the trash heap where they dumped Bishop, and she like turns him back on. And he's like, Ripley, I'm in basically the most amount of pain you can be in right now. What is it? And she's like, can you tell me what happened? And then he like reveals the ship logs and stuff. And she's like, dang, we can't let the company figure it out. And he's like, dude, Ripley, the company already knows. They have access to all the logs I do. So like they're coming to get you and the alien inside you. And she's like, God damn it. And he's like, hey, can you kill me? This is seriously really painful. Awful. I'm like barely put together right now. And she's like, okay, I love you, Bishop. And then she kills him. And that's kind of a bummer too. They just took all the characters and they were so mean to them. This is also the movie where Ripley shaves her head because they're like, there's lice here. It's disgusting here. So you have to shave your head. Where it's like, all right, it's like de-womanizing her in a way. I don't know. I'm sure they tried to come up with something.
And I have not seen this one.
Yeah, it's really
bad. I think I've seen the
Sounds
first
awful.
one.
And this is also where the one meme comes from though, which is funny, where she's like on the ground like cowering, and the alien just like comes up next to her and it's just like, all like wet and stuff next to her face.
So something good came out of this.
Exactly. The xenomorph does not kill her in that scene because she is impregnated with an alien chest burster, and so that's why she's like, they won't kill me. They want me to give birth.
Yeah.
So she uses that to her advantage somehow, kinda, not really. And then they pour molten lead on the xenomorph, and also a bunch of the other guys who are leading him into there. And then they're like, we did it. We killed the xenomorph. And then the xenomorph fucking pops out of the molten lead and starts attacking her. And then like the last remaining prisoner guy is like, Ripley, the alien, it's hot. And I was like, yeah, duh. But then I guess what that meant was she needed to use the sprinkler system to spray it with water, and then the thermal shock of being so hot and then being sprayed with water then shatters the alien into a million pieces.
So
and I
like
was
when your glass baking pan breaks.
Whatever, man. Whatever, dude. He's covered in molten lead. Okay. The Leidenfrost effect alone would prevent him from... Anyway.
Love that.
It sucked. Anyway, the alien explodes, and as it does, the company shows up, and they're like, Ripley, we're gonna take that alien out of your belly and save your life. And she's like, no, you're gonna use the alien for evil. Oh, by the way, the guy from the company who shows up looks exactly like Bishop, because he's like, it's me. I'm in charge of the Wayland Corporation. I invented the Bishop robot. I guess that they all look exactly like me, which is weird.
Well, that's on track.
I would not want
ego. That's ego.
I would not want a Zuckerberg robot. I'll tell you that to your face. A Bezos bot.
But they would make robots in their likeness.
Spot. Yeah,
you know that.
Dude.
Anyway, but it's the same actor, so whatever. And she's like, no, I'm gonna kill myself instead of give you guys this alien. And so she does, and she jumps towards the pot of molten lead.
And
yeah, as she does, the chest burster, sensing that she's killing herself, erupts from her chest, trying to escape the molten lead. But she grabs the little guy as she's falling into the molten lead, and then she's got the like death pose as she's like falling into the lead, exploding, and that is how Ripley perishes. And she kills the last of the alien samples with her, and the aliens are no more because Ripley made sure that there were no more aliens ever again. The end. That's how the movie ends.
Great.
Alien Resurrection. As the name implies, I paid very little attention to this movie. I'm going to admit, but I did watch it. And I will say it's pretty stupid, but Winona Ryder's in it, and that's fun. And she was also in Beetlejuice, so cool.
Great.
They have been using Ridley's DNA, I guess. I don't. So somehow they got a DNA sample of her and the alien inside of her. Maybe when she was in the cryotube, maybe she made like a lead sarcophagus of herself in the last one, and they like extracted some goo out of it or something. I don't know.
Who's to say?
But they got some Ridley DNA also mixed with some alien DNA. And they're like, we're going to clone the alien using this. And then they were like, we're having a lot of troubles doing that because of the many, problems with that premise. But after their 8th attempt, they're able to make a Ridley that is pretty close to Ridley, but she has also been suffused with the powers of the alien. And so she's called Ridley 8.
Okay.
She is a clone. She is played by Sigourney Weaver, but she has a completely different personality and is a different person. And she has alien powers, and she can sense where aliens are because she can like smell them or whatever.
Okay.
They're like, we made a second creature that's more alien and less Ripley as well. It's a alien queen. That's right. We made one. And
that seemed like a great idea.
And so in a way, you're an alien queen.
But not as
queen.
You're an alien queen.
You're an alien queen. Exactly. You're an alien, queen. But also we made an alien queen out of the same DNA somehow. That's not really how DNA works. But and Ripley's like, although I share a kinship with these aliens, I still hate them. That part of me is still in there because of course, there are certain memories that get stored in DNA, as we know from Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
So in a similar technology, this Ripley clone has retained some of old Ripley's memories and also some of what they call DNA instinct in the aliens.
Love that. Yeah.
Whatever.
Sure. Sure.
And so
What year did this come out?
I don't care, friend. And so they're doing all this
Okay.
and they're like, okay, this has gone bad. The aliens broke out again.
Jeez.
We need to kill them.
Jeez.
There's a cast of characters. They all die. It doesn't matter.
1997.
The Clancy man's in this one as well. This is the second movie with Clancy Brown in it, not being Mr. Krabs, being like, I can't wait to kill some fucking aliens. And I'm like, I just love to see you and stuff. He dies, as you might imagine. Ripley, they make this like alien human hybrid. So instead of coming out as a xenomorph, it comes out with, it's like a xenomorph, but it's also got way more human qualities, and then it imprints onto Ripley, and it thinks that this is mama, because it kind of is. And the scientists are like, the scientist who's evil is all like cocooned up because they're going to turn him into a chestburster guy, because he's been undone by his own creation, a la Frankenstein. But he's like, don't you see, Ripley? We created a more perfect organism by making human DNA in it. You are the perfect organism because you can now create these xenomorphs that are even more human, which is good. And
they're so gross, by the way.
They're disgusting. They're foul.
This was the, so I guess I've seen 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is like imprinted in my DNA memory, is the disgusting fucking image of their fucking humanoid alien. Like, what if we just took the basic design of an alien, but we did put like human flesh on it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's gross. It's got like sunken skeleton face. It's horrid. Anyway, they decide that Winona Ryder's there and she's helping them out, and she's a synthetic, turns out. But Ripley is like, the Winona Ryder is like, I'm a synthetic. I'm a monster. I hate myself. And Sigourney Weaver's like, I'm a monster. That's how they made me, but I'm still going to keep on living. And she's like, but why? And she's like, because, what's the alternative? And they're like, okay, good point, I guess. And so they figure out a way to blow up the whole facility, and they blow up all the aliens again. I don't know if the two of them live. I think they do, but like, who cares? They never come up again.
What does it matter?
We're starting to get into the kind of technically non-canonical territory, even though, again, it's a mainline movie with all the characters. So I don't know what to tell you. This movie is both boring and only filled with action scenes. So I don't really know how to describe it, other than the whole time Sigourney Weaver is playing a version of Ripley that is like got alien senses, and she's like, you're gonna die. Aliens are way stronger than you. I know. I'm an alien, and they're gonna kill you. And they're like, they're not gonna kill us.
What great writing.
We're cooler than they are. And she's like, no, you're not. And that's Alien Resurrection. They resurrected Ridley to be alien version of Ridley. And
not completely. Fun.
This is also like 200 years after Alien 3. Again, there's just like huge time skips and everything.
Right, sure.
So, those are the more OG ones. I don't think people really count Alien Resurrections as a thing. But you were wondering, Fran, where these darn aliens come from? Kind of feels like they're so specific to be such good killers. Isn't there like a reason for that? Well, we get a reason for that in the Alien versus Predator crossover event, which is now in retrospect is just such a weird thing, because Alien is supposed to be like a horror movie, but Predator is just a straight action movie. It's like not. Well, it doesn't have any horror elements other than there's a monster in it.
Every Alien movie after the first one is an action movie.
I mean, I guess that's true. Well, everyone was really excited for this big crossover, and I gotta say, I kind of liked Alien versus Predator. I thought it was cool, but we get a lot of very good lore that we can talk about now. We don't have to talk about the whole movie, because I'll give you a hint. The premise is that aliens fight the Predators. But it turns out that Predator, which are the... hold on.
We haven't done an episode on Predators yet. People have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, the Predators...
I only know Predator Hunting Grounds. video game.
Yeah, which is again quite accurate to the source material. You're right. I won't go too far into it. They have a name. I don't really know what it is. I only watched the one
Who
Predator.
cares?
I only watched
We'll
the one.
do a Predator episode later.
We probably won't. There's not a lot to talk about there. But it
can be a short episode for once.
The Predators are a race of hunters that like all they care about is the hunt. They want to hunt the most powerful things. So sometimes they fight Arnold Schwarzenegger, because obviously. But usually, what they have a ritual where to become like a man version of a predator, you have to kill an alien, because the xenomorphs are the perfect organism. So if you can kill them, then you're cool. And so they would come to Earth in ancient times and taught ancient Earth people how to make pyramids, I guess. And they used these pyramids as sacrificial grounds because they needed human sacrifices. Because why? That's right. You can only make an alien by having a chest burster burst out of a person. So ancient humans would give human sacrifices to what they thought were the gods because they came down in spaceships and made big pyramids. This was all in Antarctica, and where humans live. And so they learned how to make pyramids from them. So all pyramids are derivative of the ancient predator pyramids that they would use for
Antarctica.
That they used for their, which is buried underneath the ice now. They use
that.
Like glaciers are the shape that
this,
they are.
This sounds like a fucking amazing.
They use that for their rituals where they would summon forth a bunch of aliens to fight and kill. And there was a bunch of like small details in the previous movies I didn't really bring up, but like it makes them uniquely adept at avoiding the predator's main stuff. So like the aliens don't see in the normal sense. They sense vibrations with their big penis head. So the predator, famously with its cloaking device, is useless against the alien because the alien doesn't see them with their eyes anyway. They can feel their movement. And so predators can't cloak from aliens. Also,
is that how penises work?
Exactly how. That's
sense
only
the
if you've got a
vibrations of
really
people
big
around
one.
you. Okay.
So I wouldn't know too much about that.
Oh,
but
that's not all? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
my
We
sex
all learned something
education
today.
was from Kansas, so I didn't really get that part of it. That wasn't
The
part of the
aliens
Bible.
Aliens also don't show up on heat, on like infrared heat maps for some reason.
They're just so moist.
Because their blood is acid, I guess. So like
Great.
the predators can't track them using their little like infrared tracker thing either. And a lot of the predators' weapons are just like swords, like hand swords and stuff. But alien blood is acid. So if you stab them with it, it's just going to melt your arm sword off. So they're like, these guys are the ultimate prey. So we're going to it said every 100 years, and I was like, what? So this happened in like 1920 and nobody noticed? Okay. But whatever. Every 100
No.
Every
war wasn't happening at that time.
When did we get to Antarctica?
That's just where the pyramid is. I don't know, ancient
right,
times.
but I'm saying like no, I'm saying like
when the continents were one, Ethan. In
no,
Pangea times.
CJ, you fucking rube. I'm saying like when did modern like explorers actually make it?
That's what I'm saying, Ethan. They go there every 100 years. I don't know.
Right, no, I'm saying that of course we didn't notice in the 1920s. We weren't going to Antarctica then.
But like you would have had to, people had to go become aliens.
I'm sure they got kidnapped.
All of the predators come fight the aliens. The Wayland, this is like a prequel. So like the Wayland guy who becomes the head of the Wayland Corporation is there, and he looks like Bishop. So, okay. It's like a tie-in, I guess. And the predators are like, we're big and bad, even though everyone on the internet is like, oh yeah, no, the aliens are way stronger than the predators. Wouldn't the aliens just win every time? But they so they were doing all of this throughout history, and then at the end of the Alien vs Predator movie, one of the predators is infected with a chest burster, and it comes out, and you get the predator morph, I think they call it. It's half alien, half predator. That's the main antagonist of the Alien vs Predator Requiem, which is the second one. I only watched part of that, and the aliens are infecting Earth, and the predators gotta stop it. It's like the humans kind of team up with the predators because the aliens the bigger threat. Whatever. Those movies are silly.
That's like never happened before that the predators lost. They
specifically said every time they were gonna lose, they wiped out all traces of the aliens, because what does a predator do when he loses? Ethan and Fran
do love to explode.
They self-destruct themselves and explode everything around themselves. So they never had an alien go loose because those blew themselves up. Ethan, you buffoon. Anyway.
I do love how deeply important to the Predator lore it is that they will blow themselves up every time they lose.
That being said, I always thought to myself, aliens and predators, that sounds pretty cool, but I always kind of wondered where a fully robotic creature would fit in, like how they would stack up against these enemies. I always wondered to myself, what if there was an alien versus a predator versus a Terminator? That sounds like it could be a cool thing. And they did that.
They did?
So
they did a 3 franchise crossover?
The people who were in charge of Skynet...
you can't. That can't be
right.
They got wind of Ridley 8 because she's the perfect human, and they're like, we gotta do research on this, send a Terminator to go get her. And there was a big crossover that was Alien versus Predator versus Terminator. It was a comic series. I didn't look into it, but I know that it exists, and Ridley 8 is a central character to that, as is the Terminator? Like the main one. I guess he did this at some point. And then the Predators showed up, and they're like, Terminators seem like good prey. We should hunt them. So they were doing that as well.
Oh my god! I mean, I do love the idea that the robot apocalypse does occur in the universe in which the fucking predators and aliens exist. And they're like, huh. Yeah, well, I guess our hunting ground is ruined. I hate it when that happens. I hate it when those intelligent species get to the point where the robots take over.
It happens every time. This is all too silly. We need a serious, hard reboot. We need a movie that's so serious we won't even say it's an alien movie to begin, because people are going to realize as the movie goes on that it's an alien movie, and then they're going to be like, oh my god, it's the origin story of aliens. I hope it's really cool. I hope it does great at the box office.
I hope it's not bad.
Let's release a movie called Prometheus that's about that's about a guy who's so old, but he's in charge of a company, a big company called the Wayland Company. And he
I know that name.
And he's like, I'm so old, and like all rich old people, I'm scared of nothing except my own mortality, which I am so terrified of. I would drink an ocean of mercury just to preserve my life for even a day longer. The void is so scary to me that I will use all of my considerable resources and expendable human lives that I can to live a bit longer. And they're like, all right, here's the deal, guys. He's at the beginning of the movie, he's like, I'm dead now, but he's not. He's in cryo sleep and he's almost dead. He's like, I'm gonna die in like 2 or 3 days. But we think he's dead at the beginning. Spoiler. I don't think this movie is very good. If you like Prometheus, that's nice, but I think it's kind of stupid. The fact that it becomes an alien movie is very silly though, and I like that. He's like, I assembled this crack team. There's another cast of characters. Don't worry, they're all gonna die. It doesn't matter. They are like, but CJ, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Everyone dies eventually. Yeah, but like, who gives a shit about any of these characters? Well, all of their traits and personalities and like desires and goals never come to fruition. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Who cares? there's one guy who's like, I studied ancient Sumerian and Babylonian and all that stuff, and they all
In Antarctica.
it's not too far off because they all reference the same ancient guys who are like super cool guys, and they're like gods or whatever, and they're always pointing to this star system, and they're like, go there. And they're like, but now with advanced technology, we know that they were pointing to a specific sequence of planets, exoplanets, off in the distance, and we can get there using our spacefaring technology. This is before the first Alien movie, by the way. So this is before 2090. This is like 2070 or whatever. But they're like, even before then, even I think it's like 2050. So this is in like 20 years. This is going to start happening.
To do.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But they're like, I put you in cryosleep. You all are going to this planet because that's what the ancient people told us to do. And we think that these guys are the creators of humanity. There is some sort of humanity forerunner, if you will. But in this one, we're going to call them engineers because this time we're ripping off Halo and we don't want to use the same word. So, okay, whatever. Ancient aliens called the engineers made humanity somehow. And this guy wants to go, this old guy wants to go and talk to them because he's like, if they made us, maybe they can make me not die. Because that's really scary and I don't want to do that. And I'm really rich and I shouldn't have to die if I'm really rich. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Only poor people need to die.
That's simply not fair.
Simply not.
So he sends his daughter and a robot that he made named David, that's played by Michael Fassbender, and they go to this planet, which turns out it's VR 126 or whatever the fuck the planet was I said before. It's the planet from Alien.
Yeah, 426. Yeah,
it's the planet from Alien, if you can believe. But they go there. And they discover there is an alien spaceship there. What? That's crazy. Inside of the alien spaceship, there are a bunch of remnants of the engineers. They were dudes. They were real. They apparently came to Earth at one point and made humans. They're like, they get some samples from them. And they're like, their DNA predates our own. And ours is based on theirs. And we're like, wow, that's cool, I guess. That's crazy. And then they're like, and then the one lead lady who's kind of the Ripley of this movie is like got a cross, and everyone's like, you're still wearing a cross? How can you believe in God? We were made by these guys. And she's like, yeah, but who made them? And I'm just like, this is stupid now. And like the robot's named David, which is the name of the biblical king who, was
I don't get it.
I don't know,
like,
but
he's a biblical king of Israel, and he was like, it transitions from being. Remember, I said before it was like that, like relationship with like mothers and fathers and stuff like that was kind of the core central theme. Now it's transitioned into the relationship between humans and gods, and like David's whole thing is he's like, I'm better than human. Like he turns evil. Surprise. And
right, we're in a prequel, so we haven't put the can't be evil chip in.
Well, and then he's like, I'm better than humans. I'll live forever. I'm never gonna die. I know how to do everything. Also, they do the thing where they're like, I taught my creation. This is Wayland. He's like, I taught him all the great works, and it's all like classical music and like Roman shit, and I'm like, this is classic rich guy. He's like, these are all the greatest works of humanity, fucking Roman shit. And it's like, okay, cool. And then so they're like, all right, we're gonna try and figure out what these forerunners were up to, the engineers, but in the meantime, let's investigate the planet a little bit. And then there's one guy, and he gets infected with this microscopic little parasite that is on the planet for some reason. It's kind of ambiguous what it is, but at the beginning of the movie, one of these like forerunner engineer guys injects or like swallows this like black potion, and he dissolves, and all of his DNA turns into other DNA. So it's like they seeded DNA with this like mystical black potion that makes new genetic material, and that's how they create new species or something. And then
CJ,
and
this
then-
sounds
What?
a little silly.
and then they have a different mystical black potion that has a parasite virus. It's really small though, but it gets into your bloodstream and it turns you into a zombie sometimes, but also sometimes it puts a chest burster inside of you.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's an alien movie, remember? But these ones are
Okay.
microscopic. That's what. Okay, so like the whole thing with the aliens is that they feel unstoppable, but they have rules, right? Like you have to
Yeah.
get impregnated by a big face hugger to get. And there's like proto face huggers on the planet as well. They don't have
Mhm.
the full like. They're not quite the same. These ones have tentacles instead of crab legs, but they still grip onto
Okay.
a guy's face and like
Yeah.
pump him full of baby goo. And then a
Yep.
chest burster comes out of him, but the chest burster like looks a little different. It's not the like final form of the xenomorph that we know.
Yeah.
And then this like ancient potion that gets into this guy's bloodstream turns him into like a zombie man who's like super strong. But also before he shows symptoms of being infected, he fucks the Winona Ryder, not the Winona Ryder, the Sigourney Weaver
Sigourney
character.
Weaver.
She's not Sigourney Weaver. It's a different character. I don't remember. I don't know.
Sure.
Whatever. And then, but they have sex, and then David's like, "You're 6 months pregnant," and she's like, "That's not possible. I only just had sex, yesterday." And he's like, "I don't think the baby in you is human." So I guess when that guy got infected with the airborne parasitic
Uh-huh.
black goo that is on the
Yep.
planet, it went to his wiener, and
Yeah.
that made his wiener juices.
Sword in the balls.
That made his wiener juices impregnate that other character, and it grew really fast into a alien creature.
Very
And then-
small gestation period.
And she is like, she doesn't say this, but she's basically like, I need to do an emergency abortion. And then the ship's computer is like, I can't do that. And I'm like, great. In the
Ah!
future, we just can't do that. All right,
Still.
cool.
I'm sorry. Our great 10-time President Trump has declared that even in outer space you can't do an abortion.
Well, but she was specifically, she's like, I need an emergency hysterectomy. But then the computer was like, this pod is programmed for only male procedures, and I'm like, what?
Wow.
So the medical
Wow.
pod that can take out her uterus can't because it's only made for dudes. And then I'm like, well, then where's the girl? Because she's not.
I
there's
mean,
not
that's
a-
just the classic healthcare system.
there's
at
not
this
a
point, like,
different pod presumably to do that. It's just this one. So it's like, so they just know lady problems they can work on. Okay, cool. So then she's like, all right, do a procedure to remove parasite. And they're like, oh, I can do that one. And I'm like, same thing, abortion. Whatever. So then the machine like cuts out the parasite out of her. And then she's like, it's gross. And she's like, cut across her stomach for the rest of the movie, and it's all like, ugh. Because they did like, I guess, kind of a C-section, but not really, because it was, chest
It's for a
burster.
man.
what is this movie about, CJ?
Okay, so David
I don't
is,
have even the slightest fucking concept yet.
So David is like, all right, great news. I found a living engineer. He's in one of their cryopods that's still alive. And I also translated their language because all ancient languages are based on their language, obviously.
Easy
So
peasy.
I synthesized like ancient Sumerian and Babylonian and
Right.
Egyptian and all that stuff, put it together in one
Love that shit.
language, translated it using all of the stuff that they have all over the walls and shit like that, which presumably would just be like stop signs and like instructional.
Hey man, if you got certain letters, you're good.
Sure, yeah, a real Rosetta Stone. This place was, and so they're like, I think I'm very confident that I can wake these guys up, and then that's when it's revealed that Wayland is alive. He was in cryo sleep, and he's like, "Oh, David, I'm old. Did you figure out the alien thing yet?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did, Dad. Let's go talk to him." And he's like, "Yes, they will save my life." And it's like, okay. And the lead female character is like, we need to leave. Like, what are we doing here? Oh, Idris Elba's in this movie, by the way. He's the captain of the ship. So that's another
Okay.
another movie with
I
Idris
assume
Elba.
he'll be completely fine.
Yeah. Anyway, they go and wake up the last engineer. And David is like, oh, it turns out that these guys were on their way towards Earth when they all died. That's pretty wild. What are the odds? And then when they all show up, David is like, I will talk to this guy because although I've only read their written language, I know how to speak it now. And so he's like, hook-a-toom, lick-a-boom, beeg-a-boom, boom. And then the engineer wakes up and he looks at him and he's like, and then he just rips his head off. And,
shit.
And then he starts beating the shit out of all the humans.
Oh.
And they're like, oh no, this ancient alien who made us seems to want to unmake us. That's not great. And so the big alien gets in his big pod thing. This is where you're like, wait a second. And the ship lifts up in the air and you're like, duh, that's the ship from Alien 1. And then the big alien guy who's like sitting in the thing, remember at the beginning of the episode when I talked about it?
Yeah.
That's what the chair was. It's the navigation for the ship.
It's the thing.
And then they're like, the one lead lady is like, the robot, the ancient alien forerunners are going to go back to Earth and kill us. Idris Elba, you need to stop them or they're going to destroy all life on Earth. They figured that out somehow. And then Idris Elba's like, this is not a warship. And then he's like, you got to do something. He's like, I know what we got to do. And then he's like, the daughter of the Wayland guy. She's also like an evil capitalist, obviously. She like wants her dad to die. That's the whole thing. She
the great transfer, CJ.
She wants her dad to die. She is played by the Furiosa lady. And she's like, don't you see? This is, I don't know. She's like young and hot, and her dad's like 100. So I don't, but she calls him dad. So I'm like, I guess he probably is just banging. He's just banging. I don't know.
He's doing a Musk.
But he, I don't want to give that guy credit for anything. He's, but she's like, don't you see? A king is supposed to reign, and then he's supposed to die, and then the next generation's supposed to take over. She's mad that she wants to be in charge of stuff, but her dad just won't fucking die yet. David also wants his dad to die because he resents him for treating him like a robot, which he is, and like a servant, which he is again. But David thinks that he is alive and deserves to do whatever he wants because he thinks he's superior to humans. Everyone hates this guy. That's okay. The Forerunner kills him. And he's like, David, I don't want to die. And he's like, I know. Anyway, see ya. And then he dies.
Wait,
and then
was it David who got his head ripped off by the guy, or was it?
It was, yeah.
No, it was the guy who.
No, it was David, but he's a robot, so he's still, doing stuff.
Oh, okay, sure.
Got it. Oh, yeah. That's another idiosyncratic thing is how Officer Ash, when he got his head ripped off, he died as a robot. But David, a much earlier version of the robots, is completely functional if his head gets ripped off. Cool.
Sometimes when you do updates, you lose older functionality,
Sure. So Idris Elba smashes his ship into the alien ship. It crashes back down on the ground. And that is presumably where the ship from the original Alien movie is, because that the chest burster that came out of one of the guys previously turned into a guy that took over the Forerunner, and they implanted an egg in the Forerunner's body, and then that's why the Forerunner had a chest burster in him. And then, as we all know, an alien can turn into an alien queen if it needs to, because of like whatever Genesis thing that we've talked about it in previous episodes, where you can and then presumably that alien laid a bunch of eggs inside the ship, and that's where the aliens came from, which would kind of make sense, except that then there was a sequel to Prometheus, and then they just dropped the pretense and they just called it Alien Covenant. I don't know why they called it that. The bunch of space colonists crash land on this fucking planet again.
Wow. This one planet really just pulls them all in.
It does. And then they are like, this planet is a utopia. It's like it's been bioengineered to be livable. We should live on it. And they're like, there's like cultivated wheat here. Like there's people who live here. We should figure that out. And they're like, no, let's just settle here. This is a utopia.
Okay.
Let's not go to the place we were going. Let's stop here instead.
Let's take these guys' stuff.
And then they discover David, who's still there. His head's back. He got his head back on his shoulders. Oh, at the end of the previous movie, the girl survives, the Ripley character, and she teams up with David. And they don't really like each other, but David's like, I can fly the ships. There's more ships, by the way. And she's like, all right, you have to take me to their home planet because I need to talk with them and figure out why they made us and also why they want to unmake us. And he's like, okay, well, I'm just ahead, so I'll help you because that helps me too. And it's like, okay, cool, whatever. And then between the movies, that woman dies, but David's still here. And there's a new robot that's Michael Fassbender that's also with the new crew of their ship because he's like a model. You know.
So how did wheat get cultivated, David?
No, it was the Forerunner alien guys. They used to live here.
Got it.
That's why they had ships here and stuff because they were doing research on this planet. Specifically, they seem to be doing research about how to make bioweapons because that's right. The ancient Forerunners made the aliens as a bioweapon to kill.
Kill what?
Each other, probably.
They tried to tie this back in. They're like, they wanted to make a thing that infected only non-plant life and that would kill anything that isn't a plant. So they made what they later would call the Prometheus's fire. That's what they called it. But there's also like, it's the black goo that infects people and turns them into zombies and also makes chest bursters in them sometimes. And that infects everything that isn't a plant. And they use that for population control or something. But that also spawned the aliens. But then in secret, David has been taking those aliens that got made from all those people, and he's been breeding them and like selective breeding them because he's slowly turning them into the xenomorphs. Like he shows them
domesticating them.
He shows them all their he's the opposite, Fran. He's perfecting them.
I gotta say, none of this makes a damn lick of sense.
But Ethan, you don't understand because
I
don't.
Whoa, I just got dizzy. So David is making the aliens to kill humans. He fucking hates humans.
Because he hates humans.
It sounds like they were plenty good at doing that already.
In the second Prometheus movie, the Alien Covenant, he flies to the homeworld of the engineers and he releases the black goo upon them. And they all die, and presumably turn into aliens. And then he used those aliens for his experiments, and he killed the lady from the last movie. He lies to the other people and says that she died in an accident, but no, he killed her. And then he's like, Michael Fassbender robot. You and me, we're not so different, you and I. And it's like, yeah, this is the same person. But the new Michael Fassbender robot has the inhibitor chip that makes him not evil. And so they fight each other, and he's like, I must protect humanity. And he's like, I want robots to reign. We're cooler than they are, and we can also create life. You think humans can only create life? No, robots can create life because they created us, and the engineers created them, but I killed the engineers. I'm better than them. I killed the humans. I'm better than them. So I'm actually the perfect creation, and I'm going to create a new perfect creation because I'm God now or something. And he's like, no, I can't let you do that. And then they fight each other. And then the new robot kills David. I wouldn't be surprised if that robot was named Adam, but I don't fucking remember. And then there's alien xenomorphs on this planet that they're colonizing because they get infected by all the shit again. And there's whatever. And the whole thing culminates with they survive. And a few of the colonists survive, and they're like, all right, time to travel on to where we were originally going. And then their robot guy, Michael Fassbender, is like, all right, I will put you all back into cryosleep, and then we'll all get to where we're going, because the robots don't get put into cryosleep. They're the ones who like take care of the ship when it's in orbit. And then the surviving lady is like, this one has a surviving lady too. And then she's like, will you help me make my log cabin when we get there? Because her husband wanted to make a log cabin, but he died in the cryopod during the accident at the beginning of the movie. And the Michael Fassbender robot just has like a little smirk on his face, like, And then she's like, wait, let me out of the cryopod. And he's like, good night, bye.
Wow.
And then he's like, computer override system protocol David. That's right. He killed the other robot. He actually beat the other robot and took his clothes, I guess. And then he was David all along. He's still there. And then he goes, whoop, and then he takes out of his mouth a little embryo that contains a face hugger. And he puts it with all the human embryos, because they have like a desk of human embryos for like the next generation of humans that they're going to seed, because it's a colonist. And then he's like, bloop, bloop, and he puts a bunch of alien eggs on there. And he's like, and now these aliens will also survive. The aliens will always survive now. Ha 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 ha. And then the movie ends. And I don't know where this ship goes or what the fuck this is all supposed to mean. But it happens.
I'm also confused because on our timeline here, it seems that the version of aliens that we understand have been created by this guy.
Yep.
So somewhere around like the 2080s, but also predators have been fighting those kind of aliens for like hundreds of years.
But also
including Predator lore.
But also the Weyland Corporation didn't know that the aliens were on this island, which is why they sent those space truckers to go check it out in the first place, even though they would have known what was there exactly, and what they like, that wouldn't have been the first time that they would have figured it out.
To be fair, documentation is horrendous.
So important to
most
keep
businesses,
documentation.
you know what I mean? Like, if they don't, like, or like files get lost, someone leaves the company or dies, and like Google Drive, just like no one knows how to access it because they never shared it with anybody, you know, like.
So that, that's all the aliens. The new one is about something.
Surely they can't do any more with this.
So
We've already addressed all the important questions.
The new one is an interquel, which I don't know what that means. I assume it happens in between other movies.
Which ones?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, Fran. And if you want to go see how, I mean, maybe they're going to make it all make sense in this one. I think this one's more of an homage to Alien 1 and 2, though, from my understanding of it.
I mean, that would be the way to go.
Yeah. Well, but what are the aliens? They're kind of whatever they need to be. Maybe we were the aliens the whole time. Maybe we represent.
The thing that like super bothers me about the series as you've described it to me, and I haven't researched this, but I just know this to be true based on what you have told me, is that we had this like very interesting kind of original idea in the first movie, right? And so many other like cultural things have riffed off of it.
Yeah.
And then since then they've just been like, what if we just steal all the other cultural riff stuff
that's based on our original thing? Yeah.
Right, yeah, like, oh, you know, Metroid did this whole thing with like the alien
alien baby.
That's made as a weapon and such. Like, oh, we're gonna just like that's what ours were, actually.
The whole time.
It's
Halo is a dope game. Let's try some of that shit out.
God, people love making alien forerunners that invented humanity. They're supposed to like inherit the earth. So I think the implication, I don't know if this is true. I'm guessing because none of this shit really makes too much sense. And I I mean, you can come at me and be like, actually, the Prometheus movies were pretty good. I think they're pretty dumb. But they're like trying to be interesting, and I guess that has to be worth something, maybe. But I really get the impression that the idea is that these guys, they're like making new life, and they like made humanity, and they're like, oh no, this species is inherently evil or something.
No good.
Like, we need to destroy these guys because they're too dangerous to be left alive. And so now they're trying to undo that, and then the like aliens and the humans, and also I guess the predators are all like species that were created from these guys, and they're like, no, I don't want you to unmake us. We'll fight the aliens.
How does Terminator fit into this one?
Well, humans made Terminators. They're basically
okay, there you go.
David basically is a Terminator.
Right.
Yeah.
So
now I really like the idea that the predators are just an unrelated species that happened upon this and was like, whoa, these are cool things to kill. Let's let's do that.
I don't know. And the aliens have been so like, they just are like, they just like show up and stuff because people are like, oh, alien, cool, I like to see it. And it's like, yeah, okay. I guess we're just putting aliens and stuff now. There's no like sanctity to the original one. There really never has been though. Like, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's like it was a cool idea at first, and then they're just like, we're just gonna keep using this, and every time they tried it again, they're just like, it just is stupid now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the point of like Alien Covenant is. I don't know why they made it. I don't know what the point of the whole thing is. I don't. There's all this like intrigue. It's like framed as intrigue, but it like doesn't make sense. No one has any clear motivations. It just seems like, again, they're just like referencing. They're doing this thing where they're like, what if there was a creature, which is David, who like saw the aliens as like this artwork that he was working on, or so, like I think that's what the idea is. And like, I don't think the reference to David is, I mean, it's not like, I thought the reference to David initially in the first Prometheus movie was like, oh, he's like, it's like a biblical thing, but then later on it goes more into the line of like the David, like the Michelangelo statue. He's like the creation of like this ideal man, and like that is kind of his motivations going forward. And like I don't know.
I wouldn't think too hard about it.
It's CJ. We're just gonna have to go see Alien Romulus, and finally they'll put it all together.
They'll figure this all out, and then the Michael Fassbender will be like there, and he's like, "It's me. I was the alien. I was in the suit." And I go like, "Wow." And the alien, I don't like that they just show it running around and doing stuff now, because the only reason the original Alien looked good is because you only ever saw parts of it. Like, you never really saw the whole thing in frame, because if you did, you would see how silly and stupid it kind of looks. It's just like a guy in a suit with a really big head. Because the original monster was not anything but a guy in a suit. Like, it was a guy in there. So like, he's humanoid because he was wearing a suit. It was a dude. So the fact that they're just all running around and doing stuff, it's so exhausting, dude. That's Alien. That's all the Alien stuff. This one wore me down in a new, unique way, because I just normally I can like try to figure out the intent. I like get close to like what is the meaning here. Apparently the main concept was to adopt a dual plotline for the film that will combine the horror elements of Alien with the philosophical elements of Prometheus. I wanted to write something that had the feel of the original Alien, because seeing that movie was one of the great events of my youth.
Again, the what this actually is, there's no through line, because this is just like, we have a successful franchise, like, let's get people to keep making them, you know?
Yeah.
They really...
this just reinforced the idea that Hollywood will greenlit anything that's already part of the franchise.
I'm afraid to go to this place because it might be too reductive. But there's all these writers right now that are trying to make these like really deep philosophical things with like humanity, our relationship with these new creations of technology that we're making, our relationships with death and how that is scary. And it just is like you're making this in a post-ironic wubba-lubba-dub-dub world where like we already have this whole like life is meaningless, like so like putting out all of these deep philosophical questions. It's like, dude, we had our midlife crises when we were 14. The youth
already is grappling with this.
We're so past. You want us to like have these deep thoughts about like what is the meaning of creation, and it's like, I don't know, man, but like we have so many things about it. You're trying to shoehorn this into a Alien movie, my dude. Like, is this the place? Is this gonna work? I don't think so, and I just think it just doesn't work. They're just like,
no.
It's just all these. It's the same thing over and over. It's all these guys who are like, Back to the Future was my big inspiration. Alien was my big inspiration. Fucking Predator was my big inspiration. Terminator was my big inspiration. It's like, we get it, dude. Those are all movies that came out when you were kids. But like, make something else now. I don't know. No. But they won't. They're just gonna keep making Alien movies forever. I was gonna say I'd like it if they made another Predator movie, but they also did do that. They made a movie called Prey. It's about an American Indian back before they were called that. They were Comanche.
Love that.
And people liked it. It was good. People said so. We're not doing that. There's no aliens in that, so I don't know anything about it. But it sounds cool. Anyway, what do you guys think about Alien? Are you scared of the alien? Is it scary to you?
I'm just grossed out, man. I don't need that large of a penis coming at me. You know.
Me every Saturday, am I right? Anyway, okay, cool. Also, I guess whatever. He's also called David 8. I guess that's a reference to.
For Ridley.
Wow, cool. Oh, that really pulls it all together. Thanks.
Yeah, that's what people. Listen, internet people, you're fine. I don't have any issues with you, but you guys are so filled with like cope on all these stuff where they're like, it actually weaves very well into the story. There's lots of nods and homages, and I'm like, dude, referencing a thing from a different thing doesn't make it good on it. That's like, I hate it. Okay, I'm back and angry. I hate it. It's like the lowest common like nerd denominator thing where they're like, remember this thing, and you're like, I do remember that thing. That makes me like it now, that it references a thing I used to like. It's like something new, my guy.
Nostalgia fucking kills, man.
I've been watching Trolls 3 band together over and over because it just is like, it doesn't pretend to be something it's not. It's the third Trolls movie. It has Justin Timberlake as a troll in it. And they sing NSYNC songs together. And it's like, fine. You're not trying to make me think about life. You're just singing about being trolls. And that's enough for me. I don't need it to be like, remember, it's like, what's a movie from my youth? It's like Star Wars, kinda. It's like Mad Max.
This CJ rant reminds me of the previous episode where he got
I like it when CJ gets mad at the things. I think his reactions are irrational given It's simply a movie, bro. Settle
It
down,
reminds me of
bro.
my youth.
Well, thanks
Yeah.
everybody for listening to our podcast. It's good to be back.
So glad to be back.
It's man, what a journey. I hope you all enjoy the latest Alien movie. I hope that you give it all your money. I hope everyone has enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine. I hope everyone likes
Is CJ getting
all
payouts for things that we don't know about?
The thing is, Fran, it's
From
all
Hollywood?
it's all
Like-
20th Century Fox, dude. And then they had all these iconic things, and they still couldn't stop Disney from buying them. And I just don't get it. I don't understand. Disney owns all the stuff, and they're never gonna make a new character ever again. And then Wish came out, and people were like, "This sucks,"
it.
but it was supposed to be like. It was supposed to create the Disney cinematic universe. That's right, Ethan. You didn't know that Wish
Yeah.
was supposed to combine all of the Disney movies into one coherent universe? Isn't that fun, Ethan?
sounds-
Isn't it fun when all of the universes overlap? They all come together. Don't you love it when all your favorite pieces of media are all just one big conglomerate, one big Soylent Green of content that you can digest, that you can play Super Smash Brothers with Ridley, who's
Oh, I
a
do like that,
reference to
actually.
an alien character.
wait, hold up. I
Hold on.
actually like that part. Though.
Don't you?
Also, Disney already did that with Kingdom Hearts and Wreck-It Ralph too.
don't
and-
you love that? Don't you love when Ralph broke the internet, Ethan? Isn't that such a fun thing to happen?
And I've been Ethan.
And
Yeah,
I've been
we
Fran.
have to plug the stuff. Thanks for watching, you guys. Thanks for making it to the end of the episode. We're gonna be back with some more content. We're gonna publish more regular. I don't know if we're gonna be at the full schedule yet, every other week again, but we'll try
Hell
to
no.
we'll try to get back
Probably
up.
not.
We'll see what happens. We'll try to get back up and going. We might do some more rotations just to keep the content rolling. But we're gonna be back. We're gonna be doing more stuff. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tell your friends. Make sure you hit the like button and comment and engage with us. And one day, my likeness will be bought by Disney, and they can put me into Nickelodeon All-Star Battle or whatever the fuck has fucking Steven Universe throwing
This is
hands with Batman.
Fuck yeah. This is how we all achieve immortality.
This is how I will live forever in the computer. Because I've been CJ
And I've been Ethan.
And I've been Fran.
and I'll never die, dude. I'm too popular to die.
I have simply too much money. What am I supposed to do? Give it to the next generation? Never.